Flip, slip, glibbity, glop.
Dad, you own any crypto?
No comment.
Okay. You don't want the government to know about. Have you bought the Render? RNDR?
No.
Oh, man. Get in on that train. Tell you what, in the past month, it's gone from 70 cents up to $1.91 now. Oh, sorry, that was a week. In the past month, it's gone from 18 cents to $1.91.
You're like an echo.
Do you?
Of what?
So let's talk.
Oh, I bet you have something open. I bet you have the video open now that it's live.
Yeah. I just closed my browser. I'm good.
Alright, looks like that's good to go. Just send out the bat signal, opening up the things. Sure, Facebook is good.
Man, you got that intro music. You just want to like sing.
Right?
Alrighty, let's go to our faces. Our faces. Alright, what's up,
the lyric?
everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are chilling on the stream. People filing in. Woo, hello, people. Sean, Stellar. Oh, Matt Milstead's here. Sweet.
Oh, that guy sucks.
Yeah, he does. Paul, Marcus, Francisco, Impulse, Cristobal. I go by Zach. I wonder what that guy's name is. And then Jeremy. What's up, y'all?
Hello, Jeremy.
What's up? Jeremy Walker. I don't know why I have to say that with British accent, but I did. Jeremy Walker. Meredith Stewart Baxter. Jeremy Fisher. My rusty spoons. All right.
I'm ready for this week to be over.
That was quick.
Already.
It's Monday, dude.
I know.
Man. All right. I think everybody's here and filed in. I think we're good to go. I'm going to start my recording.
I'll start mine as well. Test.
This is episode.
Now it's kind of quiet. Is it? Am I
276.
good?
No,
yeah,
you're
no,
good.
that okay.
No, you're good.
It's just because I was being quiet.
You're doing good. Don't worry. You'll get excited.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, I know that headache's already gone from how much we've been talking.
See, there you go.
I'm telling you, after every show, I'll start the show with a headache, because allergies are crazy right now. And by the end of it, I get so pumped up and so excited that, everything just
Man, it
drains
gets me
and I'm good to
pumped.
go. I got no more headache for at least a day or two, and then it comes back full force for like
Drink
4
more
more
water.
days.
Yeah.
I know.
Hydro homie.
Thank you, my wife. That's what my wife says.
My wife.
My wife.
All right. I think we're good to go. Is everybody rolling?
I'm rolling.
Chad, you
Chad,
rolling?
you rolling?
I'm rolling. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
good.
We're going to do
All
a
right.
sync clap. It'll be 1, 2, 3 clap. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. All right.
That was pretty in sync.
Was it on your side? Because it was not in
It's
mine.
also my favorite
Oh, it was like
band.
perfect on my side.
What was I gonna ask? Oh, do I sound before we start? Do I sound better on the stream now? I've upgraded slightly. Anyone listening to the stream, do I sound like super quiet in comparison? We had a weird thing where I was sounding a little quiet, and I think it's because Skype just kind of ultimately compresses everybody else in comparison to me. So
That makes sense.
hopefully I sound good. We tested it before the show, so I think should be better.
For a second, Dave, I thought you were drinking a tall boy old style, and I was about to give you like props for that.
You know what's funny is they don't have that here, and I've been watching Shameless, the new ones lately, and I'm like, man, I want one of those, but they don't have.
What's a
them here.
tall boy old style?
An old
What is
style.
It's the ultimate Chicago beer,
Oh,
right
okay.
there.
It's the Pabst Blue Ribbon of Chicago.
Uh-huh.
that? Okay.
All
right.
Cool. All right. Think we're good on the sound. Sweet. Sounds like
Good.
I fixed that with my little dynamite stick that I added onto this thing. So I think we're good. So we'll start the show. Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. What's up, and welcome to another MoGraph MoCast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt, and joining us today is our good friend, Mr. Chad Ashley.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
And MoGraph is a supplement to our site, MoGraph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other MoGraph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. You can email us info@mograph.com. Let us know what you think about the show. Questions, comments, concerns, queries, grievances, show topic ideas, artist suggestions. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, mograph.com, of course. Hit us up. Noob or expert, doesn't matter. If you're new, you're just joining in, and you're kind of getting into this whole thing, and you're like, what's up with this? What's up with this MoGraph thing, yo?
What render engine is best for rendering pizza?
Yes. What renderer engine?
What render engine use for?
You can
Use for
hit
pizza.
us up. Use for pizza. What render for pizza oven? Let us, send us a question, and we will answer you as to what type of pizza oven to use for your render. And we also try to answer
every time.
the expert stuff. I would like to say, if you'd like to join our Slack channel, make sure that you email us through the thing and tell us that you would like to join the Slack channel. If you do not say, I want to join...
I would like to be a member.
Of what? Of which thing? Because we have a couple things. You have to tell us the email specifically for Slack, or we don't know that that's what you're referring to. So make sure that you...
And we will... I don't understand the question, and I won't answer it.
Right. Yes. That's I don't have any specific emails. We had a couple for the crypto segment. We won't talk about crypto until the crypto segment. The week in review. Chad's here. We got a new David Ariev tutorial that came out this week. Chad's making sure he gets his hydro on, and we'll talk about that link to Ariev's tutorial when we get to the link segment. But just wanted to put that out there if anybody would like to look it up now and bookmark it. The only other thing that I had on my week wrap up is, I guess, Mitch Meyer's car caught fire.
Yeah.
Just thought that was an interesting note.
I know. Yeah.
I hope everything's
all right.
cool.
It was a lease.
Yeah, I mean,
the best way for it to happen.
That's what he said. He was like, it's a lease, so whatever. As long as nobody's in the car.
Right.
I guess it's, whatever.
He seemed very happy about it, I guess.
That one was funny. It was, the meme with the girl who's smiling and the house is on fire.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like that, except it's Mitch and his car is on fire.
It's funny.
But, I hope everything's cool there. That's all I got. I don't know if anything else happened in the week.
I don't know. I've been so jammed with work lately that it's like, is there... a boat got stuck? Oh, I had no idea.
Right.
All right.
You see that in between all the NFTs on your feed. And
right.
The other thing I was going to say is this time of year, it's when everybody's waiting for NAB to happen.
Yeah.
So it's usually slow. And I know NAB isn't actually happening in April, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of still doing NAB-ish type things. Like, for example, Maxon is still having the stream. They're gonna still getting drunk. We'll make sure to still get drunk. Maxon's got like a 3-day show during that time. I feel like people are still just pretending it's NAB.
Yeah.
I wish it was, man.
I know.
Yeah.
We all need a vacation.
Can you believe it's been a year since we were like, oh, NAB's canceled. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it sucks, man.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, I know.
October, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll be in NAB, right?
Comic-Con announced they're doing a physical one an in-person one in November, So that's a good sign.
How many convention centers are just going to be completely booked in the fall?
Yeah, right.
I feel like everybody's like, the fall feels like a pretty good time. Let's just book everything then.
Yeah, I mean the amount of people that I know who've gotten vaccinated and stuff. I probably know more people who have gotten vaccinated, or at least their first one, than have not.
No, that's
Wow.
So I'd say that's a pretty good sign.
That
like
is a
my
great
whole
sign.
my whole family, there's maybe 3 of us or 4 of us who haven't. Besides all the kids, that's gonna take time,
Right? Yeah.
But
it's
I'm
kind of
wondering,
similar.
Well, first of all, if they have NAB in October, when's the next one going to be? Right?
It'll be April again, I bet.
Yeah,
I
I'm
bet
sure
it'll be April.
it'll be back to the regular time,
Yeah.
unless this is like a wild success, and I'm sure
I hope
there's a very good chance it will be, but I don't know. That's
Yeah.
a good question.
Yeah, it's
also,
going to be a huge success because it's going to be the first one besides Camp Mograph, I'll say.
Right.
You know.
But you
Well,
wonder
I feel
who's
like
going to
if
come.
people are comfortable, like that's the big question is like,
Yeah.
are they going to be comfortable enough to show up?
Mhm.
Well, one of my ideas that I was thinking for it, and actually somebody did the same thing I was thinking for their high school reunion that I saw on Facebook, is having something that says whether or not you're cool with like hugging or whatever, right? Because we all like
Yeah.
immediately see each other and it's hugs all
Yeah.
around. But maybe if you had a pin or
Straight
something that
groping each
says,
other. Yeah.
you know,
Perfect.
I'm cool with hugging or
Yeah.
fist bumping or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know, to make sure that you don't come up to someone and just like make them uncomfortable, you know.
Well, I would
because you
hope
forget.
that nobody's like walking around just immediately hugging people without asking
Right.
them. Like that's
Right.
weird.
Yeah, sometimes it happens though. I've seen some people recently in IRL, and it's immediately it's like, oh, is this? And then it gets awkward. So if you just had a pin that said
Right.
and you didn't have to ask,
That's probably not a bad idea. I mean, it would be an opportune time to like make a hilarious pin too,
Right.
Heck yeah.
Right.
or a hilarious T-shirt, whatever
Right.
whatever you want to do.
Right. In training, do not pet. You know, like the dog
it'd be
pet.
two pins. One says hugs and one says drugs. You have to wear
Oh,
one.
it's like a
Either way, you
Brazilian
come out on
steakhouse
top.
That's right.
where you can flip the card
Right.
from green to
Yeah,
red.
there you go. Sorry,
Yeah.
we're open, and then you turn it out around.
So when you see somebody you actually like want to like shake
Right.
hands with, you can be like,
Right.
put the green, and then you see somebody you're like, I don't really like that person, put it
Yeah.
to red.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're coming. Yeah. No. All right.
Yeah, like
It's free ideas here.
flag system.
Right. $1 million idea right there.
Yeah, right there. You can
Yep.
have that for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting that out.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'll be interested to see. I don't think that in October there's going to be all the fanfare that we usually have. We probably won't do the limo rides and those kind of things right away. I mean,
Why not? Maybe.
we're going to shove
see.
a bunch of people in a box together right off
You
the
never
bat.
know. Dude, we could book all that stuff 1 month before it happens. You know, who knows? By July, everything may be gone and we're like,
We'll
all
see.
right, we're open 100%. Everything's clear. We're good.
I'm just
Let's do
curious
this.
how many people will come.
Leroy Jenkins.
Exactly. I think people should just put their Vax card in their NAB badge
Yeah,
holder
right.
Oh, gosh.
and like let it sit there with, the regular credentials, and that way like, okay, that person's okay. We can
Yeah.
hang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. We'll just be keeping an eye on that. And Camp Mograph, we don't have any updates to Camp Mograph yet.
Yeah, we
Blah.
have
Yet, just yet, but yeah.
We do. We
Can't speak.
have had some teacher changes. Nothing official to announce at the moment, but
Yeah.
we did have some conflicts of schedule back because we changed it to September.
Yeah.
So we've had a few people, conflicting schedules. So we've had to switch out some teachers, but I think y'all are going to be really excited about who we have.
Yeah.
So, but nothing to announce yet.
Yeah. And
Teasy teasy.
yeah,
Teasy.
that's all I got here. But let's go to some Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
So we're gonna do a little state of the.
Should be like a music. I was expecting like a musical intro. On
Right.
I need
No,
slide
no.
whistles and like horns and stuff.
that.
Woo! Yeah.
Take
Morning
it
zoo.
full, full morning zoo. I love that idea.
I think we should go full morning zoo. We should have a Mograph morning show. Just
Welcome to Crazy Ira and the Douche.
Mograph in the morning.
Oh my god, that needs to happen.
Slide
Hard enough to
whistles.
plan
We don't nobody
one
commutes
a
anymore,
week,
though.
let alone every morning.
Yeah.
How's that commute going for you out there?
Yeah.
Oh, you're working from home, eh? All right.
Top of the hour, traffic's backed up on the 75.
Yeah.
Let's check
Let's
in with
check the
Don on
chopper.
the chopper.
Yeah.
Steve, everybody's working from home, so this is really pointless.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna throw a Les Nessman joke in there, but I don't think anybody would get it.
I got it. That's what's
Yeah,
important.
there you go. Um, so
Then age check right there.
yeah, that's an H
Yeah.
check. WKRP. So
Oh.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. All right. So we're gonna do a state of the render engine address, and let's dive through them. We're gonna start with the offshoot ones, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean they might not have gotten a lot of traction lately and a lot of coverage. So let's start there. Let's work. I mean, it is Ravcock, right? We haven't talked about the other parts of the acronym in a while. So like let's work backwards. So let's talk about cycles. What's
Yeah.
the state of cycles right now?
That is a render engine. Yep.
It is.
What's next?
It's
Yes.
inside of Blender.
Inside of Blender.
And it's
I don't know. I haven't heard much about it.
Yeah.
Other than so like I last talking to Jules or whatever, they're talking about supporting it in the Octane renderer or whatever,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Kernel
That was one they were
thingy.
planning on working into.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I don't
guess
know.
that's all we
I
have.
don't really use it, so I don't
Yeah.
really know.
All right. Next up on the list, V-Ray. I've been
They
hearing
recently had an
things.
update to what was it, V-Ray 5 or something like that. I played around with it. I was on the alpha for a little while. I don't know if I'm
GPU?
allowed to talk about that. It did have GPU stuff, but it's you get these ones that have the GPU, and I don't know if I can't speak for Arnold specifically. I'm sure Chad can. As far as speed wise with Octane and Redshift, I feel like those are just like super killer with the GPU rendering.
Yeah, for me, V-Ray has a place in my heart from back in the day.
Same.
But I just feel like it just didn't really advance much, and it certainly didn't advance for C40 users enough. And I just think the look of it is a bit dated compared to Corona, which in my opinion looks freaking amazing.
Right.
So yeah, it's just never really like I was paying attention to what they were doing in C4D, and with their updates and whatnot, I think it's definitely cool to see them pay attention to this market.
I'm glad that that Chaos Group took it back.
Yeah,
because
sure. that had to happen, or just don't even like bother with it.
right, exactly.
They don't have,
But
but
no,
they
I
don't
don't-
have their Ahmed, to work
Right,
on it.
and
like
I
Octane
think
does.
that's. I mean, they might. I don't know. Like for me, like the big three, I've gotten to know pretty closely, and I know just how important plugin developers are to the success of a renderer's implementation into
Right,
a piece
absolutely.
of software. So, like, I don't know the V-Ray team for C4D, but I mean, they're making progress, which is great. I just, for me, if I was given a choice between V-Ray and Corona, owned by the same company, I would go Corona.
Interesting.
And
What are you running on your computer right now? Is it still
You
the
mean like the render?
32 core
Oh, machine?
Threadripper? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 32 core Threadripper 2 2080 Ti's with an NVLink. It's a few years old now though. I might be in the market for a new machine this year. But I'm not in any hurry because the graphics cards are so hard to come by that
they are.
I feel like I'm getting what I need right now, kind of.
Yeah.
So I'm like not motivated to like go down that rabbit hole.
well,
Yeah.
Sean in the chat, Sean Astrom, he says there's no nodes in V-Ray yet either.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
a-
huge
you know what?
bummer.
That's okay with me.
Well, yeah.
Like that's one reason why I really liked V-Ray when I started is because it was almost exactly like straight vanilla cinema.
Yeah.
Well, Corona
So-
kind of feels like that too. Sean's been trying to get me to use Corona for a while, and I actually installed it and opened it, and it was just lacking so many things for me that I was like, I can't do it. Like I can't do it.
I liked Corona when I opened it up as well, like because it felt like vanilla C4D, and
Right.
I like how simple.
You like vanilla ice cream? We get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Does-
Your favorite flavor is ice. I get
Right.
it.
I feel like it was getting some traction before coronavirus.
Right.
And, like, have they considered rebranding
Right.
at this
Right.
point?
Yeah, I wondered about that too when everything kind of happened, and that conversation took place. That
sure.
conversation was like, well, fuck, what do we do now? And it's like
The Google foo is ruined.
Yeah, it really is. Like it would be hard. I don't know, man. Like that takes a lot of time to like completely rebrand and redo something. So I can't imagine that was an easy decision to make. But in hindsight, I think they'll be okay. I think they can. I think they'll be fine. It's just like you said, like the Google juice is going to be kind of like really hard. Like there's not going to be a lot of discovery.
It's the Michael Bolton problem. Why should I change my name? He's the one who sucks.
Exactly, dude.
So,
I love that.
Be interesting to see if they do. I feel like it would be. I don't know. Honestly, like my perspective, and I might be wrong on this. I feel like they're doing well. If they rebranded, they might kind of be able to have like a resurgence, like with a new name or something. It could be a great opportunity to get back out there.
I mean, you got to assume that V-Ray, since Chaos Group owns both of them, I mean, wouldn't they implement a bunch of, the positive things from Corona into V-Ray eventually, and then
not really
merge them all together? It seems
separate.
Weird to me to have two separate render engines.
I mean, it is, but I think that you see that quite a bit, and over time, they might converge. Who knows? But I think when you have a company who owns multiple companies inside of it, it doesn't necessarily always make sense to like merge it all together.
Right.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe they're waiting for one to become like the clear winner and make that easier for them. So if like, let's say Corona becomes like huge and they decide, well, that's the winner. Let's just move everything let's put all our chips in that basket.
Right.
Which they could do, but V-Ray still is used a ton in VFX and in ArcViz, and Corona is definitely almost all ArcViz at this point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to see what happens there. But it's I mean, who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll merge it.
Sean says they're sharing a lot of features now, actually, which that's cool.
Am I not allowed to swear in here? Say somebody.
No, you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. We discourage like a ridiculous amount of use of F-bombs, but sometimes you get people and you can't control that.
Yeah.
Rachel's going to be on the show in a couple months, and I know that we can't control her, so
yeah,
Okay.
But no, you're fine. You're fine.
I'll keep it tasteful.
If it's a natural F-bomb, it's okay. If it feels good, just do it.
It feels
That's my motto with everything.
Yeah, we try. That leaves the three big ones we'll talk about. But let's start with Arnold. Actually, let's talk about where you're at right now with Arnold. Is that you're still like? I feel like when people talk about
when someone
Chad
says
Ashley,
you think, oh yeah, Chad Ashley.
Yeah, or vice versa.
Chad,
Arnold, is that still
Ashley.
the case?
Somewhat, but it's changing a little bit over time. So it kind of makes me like kind of sad when I see not as many people using it in C4D and all these people using it in Maya and Max and all that. It's a fantastic renderer. I use it all the time, but I'm not like blind to the fact that it's not as popular as Octane and Redshift. So that's okay. That's okay. If I'm still going to use it. We're still going to use it internally. But I did recently start using Octane again, and found that to be like stable, more stable than any of the other GPU renderers that I use on a daily basis, and it just delivered what I wanted it to deliver, super easy, super fast, and Aces was very easy to implement in there. And so my daily drivers are Octane and Arnold right now. So Octane for kind of like fast turnaround, pretty stuff that I just need to put out for the website or whatever. And then if it's a deeper dive material, like we basically prototype all of our materials in Arnold, because that's our gold standard of like, this is as good as we want to make this. Like this looks like we just use it because it's like, it looks great. It's easy to build stuff in there. And then that becomes our gold standard for all the other conversions that we do. So it is what we use. And so I'm using Arnold for mostly R&D, prototyping, that sort of thing, and occasionally the marketing image. It used to be all the marketing images, but now we're kind of bouncing between Octane and Arnold for our marketing images and doing more in Octane.
Yeah, I know. We were talking to Nick the other day, and he was saying that Ariev showed him a bunch of Octane stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm on board with Octane."
Yeah, he was sold, and that sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very pretty. It
is.
It's extremely pretty. The hangups that I had with it were stability and features, and they are doing more in the past year to address those things than they ever did before. And you know, they're motivated to make it better, and they're really willing to listen and work with us and all these great things. And I've actually got a list that I plan on compiling of all my gripes about Octane. That I'm going to compile into a document.
There's an Otoy request list specifically on our Slack if you want to just throw it in there. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do it kind of behind the scenes because I don't want it to turn into like a, you know, like a thing, you know.
Right.
And I respect them, and I want them to know that I'm not interested in like throwing out issues to like somehow seem like I know better or something, you know. Like I just want to I want to make products better for people.
Yeah,
like
totally.
all products.
I don't think Jules would be. Yeah. I don't think Jules would take it that way. I think Jules loves to have the feedback. You know,
yeah, he
definitely listens. Their whole team is all about that. So.
Yeah, and that's been great, and I love working with companies like that because that's the stuff that you can actually work with them and influence and make changes to the product that are better for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, and I think the biggest kind of like change for me going into Octane was just like trying to get used to their nodes and their sort of like lack of utility nodes, and building materials is still really cumbersome. So yeah, I'm kind of working my way through my list of things I'd like to see in there, but
see, I've just gotten to a point like I love Octane. You know, it's so easy
it's
to
the
me.
Bee's
you know,
knees.
it's so easy to make something look pretty, you know, really quick, and you know, call me lame, call me noob, call me whatever you want. It's just what I want. Yeah, I'm vanilla. Yeah, totally.
It does feel like there is a balance between the super technical and the ease of use right there in Octane,
right.
And like I feel like that's why Nick likes it, and because Nick to me always feels like, you know, he's the type of guy who just wants to dive in and start doing the work. He's not an overly technical person, you know, or wants to dive into like the crazy, you know, or like some Arnold node tree or something nuts.
Yeah.
Like he just wants to make pretty things, you know, so it feels right for someone like him. And I kind of feel the same way sometimes. It's like a car that you can fix, right? You can drive it, you can use it, but you can get under the hood if you want to. Right. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely come a long way, and OSL is helping a ton. And I think that it appeals to people that just want to like see a result quickly.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. And honestly, like I think that that's why it balances out so well for me, because if I just need to like jump in and make some eye candy thing for something, I can do that very quickly. And if I have something that I need the most sort of like finite control over, I'm using Arnold for that. Yeah. So it's a great, for me, it's a great balance of like, oh, I just need to bang this out really quick, and needs to look photoreal. Okay, Octane. Oh, I need to like dive in and make every single matte perfect so I can comp this and do that. Okay, I'm going to use Arnold.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how your workflow once once you're able to get multiple renders into, you know, the Octane,
into the kernel, to the drop
into the into the kernels and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know they're planning on supporting the Arnold standard surface material, which is the best material, the best Uber material, and so I'm curious about that. I want to see that happening. I want to see that come to fruition. Because that'd be great if we could author our materials in one sort of standardized format and they just work, you know, without a whole lot of like fuss. That would be amazing.
That's so
Have
great for
you-
someone like you who's trying to design everything to work with all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a time saver.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried rendering on the render network?
No, I'm still using Pixelplow like for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, they're great. You know.
Yeah.
I was forgot where I was going with that. I was gonna say something along the lines of like, being able to do the multiple passes and stuff once it all comes out, and then being able to throw Arnold onto the render network. I think that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if that
as well.
is that something that they're gonna
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, that's part of
so
the whole.
once they get that's the whole plan of everything. Once they get the Arnold standard surface shaders in there, you can basically render Arnold stuff, straight
But
out
you're
of
not
the
rendering.
Orbix.
You're not rendering in Arnold. You're rendering in Octane, but things are being essentially working.
I think it's actually
I
using Arnold because
think
you have to have
it
a
is
license.
actually, yeah, you have to have a
Oh, you do?
license for Arnold to be able to run it.
So
But you
imagine,
can package it up all in an Orbix and then render it on the render network.
yeah, imagine you're inside
It's
of
crazy.
But then,
your
so
project.
here, answer me this:
Yeah.
Why not just use Arnold at that point? Like, what's the advantage?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm
Yeah.
like, this all
Yeah.
sounds good, but it's weird. It's like saying
Yeah.
like, hey, you can drive a Ford and it'll also be a Porsche, and you're like,
Yeah.
Does
wait,
network
what?
rendering
Like, how
work
does
with
that?
it? Maybe that could be part of it, right?
Maybe.
You
I don't
can
know.
easily. And so like, let's say you're working on a project, you could flip it from direct lighting to Arnold, and then
Yeah.
send it to the render network.
Honestly, like, I don't even care. You know what I mean? Like, I just I want a good Uber material and
Yeah.
all of the nodes to work properly in the way I expect, and really that's it. Like, I don't really. I mean, there would be some things that if I could keep it in one scene and one setup, that would be pretty useful. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm curious to see what that means and how a toy talks about it, because there's
Yeah.
implications beyond the tech. There's implications to the business that like is interesting. Like, is there a deal that was made between Autodesk and a toy? Like, how does that
I feel
work?
like that's got to be the case.
I mean, they did
you know?
talk for sure. I mean, it's something that they worked out. I don't think they just threw in Arnold and said, "Hey, we can do Arnold."
Yeah.
I think that's why there's
Yeah.
not Redshift in it yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, look, I will say this: like, the Arnold team, the devs, everybody behind the scenes are fantastic people. Like, they're really good people, and they really do listen. I'm on the beta, and they actually, I mean, it's a super professional beta where, you can put in some, your requests, and they follow it, and it's a whole thing. And they're really, really good, and they want people to use their stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that a toy who's largely kind of similar, and they're very willing to work with people and promote artists and talk about that stuff. The two of them working together doesn't surprise me. I think that
Yeah.
would be great.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the fact
Yeah.
that you could render a pass from one
Yeah,
engine.
like say for example,
and a pass from
like
another.
I wanted to use,
Fog.
Arnold's subsurface, which is awesome,
The best.
versus O-Toys, which I have a hard time getting my head around, like it would be great to be able to just do the two together,
Yeah.
and then put it together in one render.
And what
It's
Cristobal
like
is talking
chocolate
about.
and peanut butter.
Yeah,
Right.
Cristobal in the chat is talking about
butter on my
the
chocolate.
Orbex files. Everything will be wrapped in that Orbex file. That's what's cool. You could exchange these files with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe working on other Arnold projects.
I mean, that'd be
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah.
That'd be killer.
Now we haven't talked much about Redshift.
Yeah.
You were like the Redshift guy for a while.
I don't know
You were
why
the Arnold
people
guy.
like. I swear to God, I put out a couple of tutorials, and
Nah,
the
you were
guy-
very evangelical about Redshift.
Well, that's
And
true
that's
because
okay.
at the time when
Yeah.
when they came out, I was very much excited about a production ready GPU renderer, which there
Yeah.
really wasn't at the time.
Right.
In my opinion, at that time, everything was out. Arnold GPU wasn't out yet. Octane was extremely crashy, didn't have a lot of features, and now we're in this new space where we see other people kind of stepping up that game, and I feel like Yeah, and honestly too, like I did talk to you guys about it. I think it was at like NAB a long time ago when I was like, yeah, you guys got to check it out or whatever it was. And then yeah, the side effect about talking about rendering is like people always will just associate you with whatever the last video was,
Right.
And so I can't anybody that really knows me that knows that I change my mind about everything all the time, like literally 360 on stuff all the time. So that's so the Redshift thing. I don't use it as much, and there's a couple of reasons why. I find that it is becoming increasingly unstable. I find that it is lacking the breakneck speed in development that I was hoping for. It still doesn't support a lot of Cinema 4D native stuff. I don't like the way it looks most of the time.
The renders or the layout? Like you talking about?
Oh, sorry. When I say that, when I don't like the way something looks, I'm always talking about the output. Like the output of it.
Yeah.
But like, dude, that could change in 3 months if they drop some release that's just like killer and it does all fixes stability and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So but it's all about what renderer gets the job done. So there's no real point in like, I'm in a really unique, lucky place that I can choose the renderer that I want to use.
Right, absolutely.
And a lot of people don't. I get that. A lot of people, I'm freelance. I have to do whatever the studios use.
Yeah.
And so, like, don't take what I'm saying as like, well, he said this and that sucks and this is. Don't, dude, don't. It's like whatever works, whatever gets the job done. I'm just telling you that what I like and what I like to use.
And not everybody can afford to buy all of them either and have a subscription to all of them. It's understandable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not cheap. But yeah, I don't use it as much anymore, honestly, and I'm really bummed, honestly, that they haven't like really taken the development and the integration into the application further. The fact that material previews are still like a pain and they don't work, and they still don't support a lot of the native. They support noises, but not all of the native noise features that Arnold and Octane do, which is like, what?
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things there's these little integrations that are still not there that I wish were. So that's really kind of like driven me to this point. I was using it the way that I'm kind of using. I was using it as like, I just need to get something out fast. And like, I'm not really super set on, it doesn't have to look completely photoreal. I don't need to like get all that crazy. It just needs to be done fast. And I was using it in that sort of way. And then when Octane 2020.2 came out and it was fast and stable and looked great, I was like, well, do I need to use that really that much? Maybe I don't. So it just kind of, but we're still, just to, I want everybody to know we're still developing for all three. We're still making tutorials and training for all three. So don't take anything I'm saying here and think, well, Grayscale Gorilla's not going to do Redshift anymore.
Right.
That is not the case. Okay?
Yeah, so many studios are still using Redshift right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Already been chewed, still full Redshift. And, I don't see them changing.
Yeah. For sure, and that's why you have to do you have to go with what people are using. Me personally, I didn't have a reason to use Redshift that much. I wasn't working for a lot of clients that needed it. It was working for a lot of clients to where you get to choose your own engine. So I would gravitate toward Octane, and I did learn some Redshift, but I know that like some places are just 100% Redshift. So
it's become sort of like, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that studios can bundle it with cinema, and that's a cost saving measure. So I don't think. I think some of them picked it because it made a lot of sense to them, production features, GPU, all that sort of thing. But I do think a lot of it has to do with that bundling, which is smart. It's a smart move.
Because if you're looking at we needed to, because we're scaling up for a project, and I needed to get another C4D license temporarily, and so it's like if you're looking at it, bundling, and I needed Red Giant. I needed all their products.
Yeah.
You know, when you're talking about bundling those two together, it's basically, you know, it's kind of like you get Redshift for free.
Yeah, it's a good bundaroo
so
for sure.
It is a good bundaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think if Redshift just did a few really kind of core things, that I would, you know, feel a lot better about it. And integration needs to be really brought up to the level of, you know, the fact that a renderer owned by Autodesk has better integration than a renderer owned by the native app is kind of crazy. Like that's a little crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Have we covered all the render engines?
Not all of them, but that's enough.
You render.
Render. Haven't messed with you. I haven't messed with render in a while. I was gonna jump on that because I was thinking about like, hey, what if I want to do a cartoon, you know, and I want to just render it in real time, you know, like how great would that be? You know, being able to render a whole cartoon in real time, just get it animated, and then boom, you're ready to go. Yeah. But about the same time I was thinking about doing that, you know, we came out with the Unreal training, and it's like, why wouldn't I just do it in Unreal?
Well,
you know,
because you have to use Unreal.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Oh my God, that interface.
But yeah, I don't know, the problem I have with all real-time engines, and if a Brigade or Redshift RT can fix this, it's going to be great. Like the biggest problem I have is the anti-aliasing. You know, you get these, and you'll notice it when you're playing video games and they're on the highest cinematic setting. You'll still get some weird aliasing issues with the lights and stuff like that. It's just the reflections, and it's like it just doesn't feel, you know,
it's photoreal. It's approximated.
Yeah.
And you know, like if that's good enough for what you're outputting, then dude, sure.
Right.
But yeah, I'm watching that space pretty closely, but it's not to the point where I'm like, wow, like that looks great and it was not painful.
Right.
That's really the two factors for me.
Right.
I'm lazy, so it's like it's got to look amazing and not be like super painful.
Right. And the Brigade, like just being able to switch it to a kernel, you know, just
I mean,
that'll be killer.
Yeah.
I personally think that near real time is going to beat real time. And that's just my take on it. So for those that don't know what that means, is like real time equals game engine. Near real time means like, you know, Redshift RT or Brigade or whatever the renderer comes out with for their like near real time experience.
Right.
Because the fact is, like we were talking about before the show, you have like an insane deadline coming up and a lot of work that you need to chug through. So you want to stay in your native app. You don't want to jump around. You don't want to like export and cache and all that shit. Like you don't want to deal with it. So like if you can be near real time, and a render that maybe in a real time engine would take, let's just say, I don't know, what are they, like they're a fraction of a second, right? Like let's say like they're 3-4 seconds, right?
Right.
In a real time
writing
engine
to disk is the hardest part.
Yeah, and you're rendering out twice the resolution, so you can downsample it to get the anti-aliasing that you're talking about, all that stuff, right? And then you get a near real time engine that maybe takes 20%, 30% longer, but you get to stay in engine, you get to stay in app, and all your materials work, everything works. Like you're willing to pay that 20-30%, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
totally.
for sure. Especially if you've already got a farm or whatever. I mean, Brigade running on all these 3090s at this point is going to be ridiculous.
I'm still using PixelPlow, and what was I doing? I'm still using PixelPlow, and I'm so cheap that I'm using the CPU PixelPlow because nobody's using
Arnold?
it. Yeah, because nobody's using it. Like,
really,
you can go on there and like, I mean, it's now that I'm saying this, I just blew the effing lid off of the secret, but yeah. So I'll be like look deving in. This was before I started using Octane more, but I was look deving in Arnold GPU and then sending it to PixelPlow CPU farm, and my renders were like $20 or whatever it is, and I'm like, this is like, how is nobody doing this? This is crazy.
Right.
How do you think that render farms will do in like
this
the
is a
next
really
10
good
years?
question. Yeah.
Not well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not well. It is probably not a good long-term business.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
on
I'm
CPU.
interested. See, I'm
I mean, I'm talking about specifically for our industry. There might
Right.
be, going forward, a need for data center rendering and all that. But like, imagine, like, I know that I try to not put it to a render farm whenever I can because I just don't want to deal with, gathering up everything and uploading and hoping that it doesn't, I'm not missing something, and all those things that I think, people and companies go out of their way to make that easier for people. And PixelPlow does a great job. But I always would prefer if I had a machine that could render it out overnight and I could go to bed and it'd be done in the morning. Yeah. Right? Like, wouldn't we all want to just do that? But
I see. So I don't mind so much. I get what you're saying as far as gathering everything and then having to download them. It's kind of a pain, I've been sending a lot of stuff over to render, and yes, exporting out to the animated Orbx file and then uploading it and hoping you get everything correct, especially if you're using like X Particles or, Turbulence FD or something, hoping you get that is a pain. But being able to, like, basically it goes out to 100 different nodes all at once and you see all those frames rendering all at the same time, versus like it's just chugging along going, I don't know, like I really enjoy being able to just get it back like that,
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And that's, I agree. And
I've got four 3090s here, and I can still render quick, but sometimes I'm just like, I need it now, because I got too much work going on.
Yeah.
That's the point I was going to make is like
Yeah.
a lot of people, you're doing multi-shot sequences, you're doing multiple jobs at the same time. Your machine can't have any downtime. Like, you cannot have any time where your machine is rendering and you're not working. You need
Especially
to work
during the day.
Yeah, you got to set up a
during
shot,
work hours.
kick it off to the farm, set up a shot, kick it off to the farm. So it really is kind of like, I think that there's going to be a market for the farm that's, as long as it's easy and simple and all that sort of thing. But I think as people retire older machines and they refresh machines every 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is, I think people that are tech-minded, like yourselves, are going to take those old machines and start basically building a farm out of them.
That's kind of
what
what we've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I just
keep-
wish that there was an easier way to set that up, because I've set up Deadline and I've set up Team Render, and they're both a pain in the ass.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and have you used network rendering on Octane?
Yeah.
It is the simplest, easiest 2-second setup you've ever done.
You're stuttery on our side. I don't know.
Oh,
if
Yeah,
I
you're a
am?
little stuttery.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll switch over to this. It's doing the thing.
Yeah. Have you used network rendering
how
on
about
Octane?
That? Is that better?
No,
Much better.
I have
Simple.
not.
It only takes. So I had to upgrade. I upgraded to 2020 R2 something. Whatever the newest version. So I had to update all my render nodes and stuff. It's literally just. It took me 5 minutes to do everything.
You hit a couple buttons and it's just there, and you can see them on the network.
it's ready
There's no
to go.
port forwarding things or NAT
That's
router
great.
BS.
I'll show it to you.
I think if you solve that problem and you make it that easy, then it's kind of a no-brainer for people, and that becomes a huge feature for Octane, because if they, in their marketing, they can say you can set up your you don't have to be an IT specialist to set up a render farm. You just install it, hit go. Like, if that's really how easy it is, then that's like a huge selling point, especially in the next 2-3 years when people have 1080 Ti's that they're retiring as they bring in the 3090s, to be able to use those to render on. Like, that's value add right there. Make that a big part of the marketing, as far as I'm concerned.
The great part about the Octane network rendering is being able to, like, when you're in your live viewer, being able to use all those other computers as well.
in your live
in your live viewer.
Yeah, so that reminds me.
Also,
I used to
rendering
love it.
single frames using all those other machines, when you're doing a sequence, versus TeamViewer, where it's like, oh, I'll take this chunk. Okay, you take this chunk.
Oh yeah, we used to have that with V-Ray back in the day. Not in the IPR, but in single frame. You can do that in Arnold as well. But yeah, it's That'd be great, man. If they make it that easy, and hopefully, that continues that to be easy, then that's great. I think the thing that I'd love to see a toy do is simplify their purchase experience. I think their entire like purchase experience is extremely confusing.
It is.
It is.
I have a feeling they know that, because even me, who's been using Octane since version 2, when I had to upgrade my license, I'm like, I don't know which one I buy. Which one do I buy?
Yeah, no, I think that that happens with companies like that are like so focused on the tech and maybe not as focused on the user experience from a purchase standpoint. But I mean, if they made that entire process much more streamlined and all of this network rendering was like just working really simply and easily, then that's awesome, man. Like that'd be killer, and it'd be a hard thing for any of them to beat, I think.
Yeah. Cristobal in the chat said, if you send your project to render and leave your PC as a node operator, you win money, which is true, actually, right now. So,
God, render is so high.
I'm pretty sure this is going to change soon. They're going to have to change the ratio or whatever. But right now, you can go onto Render site and buy render tokens for 25 cents per render token. And that'll get you like a 100 Octane bench or whatever. Now, if you're set up as a renderer on their side, you get paid back in render tokens, but it's not 25 cents because they're actually worth like $2 right now.
Yeah. So it's the loophole.
Yeah, it's a loophole for right now.
That's crazy, man. I'll have to look into that more. I just, I don't
been
follow
cool.
the render thing.
I set my third computer, my third one, the 20 series ones, to just go. In the past, like, because the render tokens have gone up so much, I'm like at $1,000 for the past 2 months of rendering.
But how much are you spending in power? Like, what does that cost?
I don't know. I'm not worried about it.
Well,
honestly, I'm really not that worried about the
power
because
I
budget.
I run an extension cord through the lawn.
Our house is it's new. It's only like 3 years old or whatever. So it's got really good heating. It's got and cooling and stuff. My energy bill's never over a couple $100 ever.
Yeah,
and
even
that's
when you're rendering,
summer,
when you're doing cryptocurrency mining and all of that, it still evens out to where you make more money running them than.
I mean, if you look at it right now, so if and I was doing the math. So if you do like a quarter at 100 Octane bench, right? And my other computer it's at like a 500, right? So I would be making it's a quarter per 100 Octane bench, so 500 or 100 Octane bench per hour, right? So multiply that by 5, I make $1.25 per hour or whatever, I guess. Is that right? That doesn't seem right.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I don't know, dude. All I know is that if I did that, my whole house would be at 200 degrees.
It costs $1.25 in render credits to use mine, but I get 5 render credits right back at $2 each.
Right.
I'm making $10 an hour just letting my computer run, right? And that's just on my 20 series computer at with two 2070 supers. That's a 500 Octane bench. My 3090s, my dual 3090s, they're a 1340. So I'm making like $50 an hour, if they had 30 series running.
But they don't have 30 series. You got to specify.
They don't yet. No.
Yeah,
not yet. But if I had those running 24 hours a day, 365, like say for example, Arnold, gets in there and they're able to send it out to all the render nodes and people are able to get render credits from rendering these jobs. It's like you're looking at $500,000 a year if they were running 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah, you did the math on that the other day.
I did.
You would
I don't know about that. Is that real?
That is real. So, okay, let's do the math, right?
But you're converting
we'll do a 1,300. Yeah, we'll do a 1,300. All right.
I mean, like, who?
1,300 times 2 plus 500, right? Well, 1300 times 2 plus 500. So my total octane bench for all my computers is a 3100. All right.
This is a
So
theoretical
it's-
if you were
This is a
running
theoretical if.
3090s.
Yeah. There is no way there is that much jobs that it would require my systems to be running 24/7. That is not the case. But if there were enough renderers going into the render network, and everyone was using the maths. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Anyway,
and they implement 3090s, which they don't have
Right.
at the moment.
So so it's basically 31 times 2. So that's $62 an hour running all my machines per hour, right? Times 24 hours, that's $1,488 per day, right? Times 365, that's $543,000.
But are you basing this on the current price of render token?
I'm basing it on the current price of what a render token is worth, versus what people are paying for it. So, you get a 100
can't
octane.
possibly stay at that. It can't possibly
No, there's
stay.
no way. It's totally unstable, right? But
yeah.
that I will say, yeah, exactly. Impulse says, their render node has been completely idle for the past 3 days. There's not that. There are way more clients than there are work going in right now.
But that could change.
But theoretically, you get all these other render engines, going at the same time. Look, it could be very profitable for a render farm to just only render jobs,
Yeah.
I
just
gotta say, I went to Uniswap and changed some of my ETH into render
Yep.
token the other day before it doubled.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with that. So.
I bought $4,000 in render tokens this past weekend. I mean, it's I don't know.
Sounds like you're all in.
I am all in. I am all in on the rent. I was a little iffy, and then I started, doing render jobs and getting paid back in render tokens, and I'm like, okay, this is a pretty good deal right here. You make more money off of rendering other people's jobs than you do of actually mining Ethereum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah,
So-
I think the time to mine is past for most of us here.
Yeah.
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 I think
Anyway.
back to 2010 when I could have mined Bitcoin and my friend told me to do it.
Do
Yeah.
that to yourself.
I know.
Because it hurt too much.
hurts.
I know, and I was like, "What are you talking about, dude? That's some crazy shit. Get out of here."
Yeah.
And now here I am.
Yeah. I mean, even if you hadn't mined it, if you had just talked to someone and said, "Hey, I'll buy 100 Bitcoin from you for $1,000," right? I mean,
Yeah.
you'd be a millionaire by now.
I know.
You'd be able to afford some of that Beeple artwork.
Right.
Like
Right.
Cristobal says, just consider that when the 3000 series or whatever,
Yeah.
when they are compatible, the work a token gives you will change. So
I'm sure
it's
all
going to
gonna
change. It's just
But it's in my opinion, it's still gonna be more lucrative than
mining
mining.
for sure.
And it's and I think that's great because in my opinion, it's artists supporting other artists. You're helping other artists render their frames.
It's actually
which is something
doing
that we would
something.
do anyway.
The energy is actually going toward something besides just
Right.
getting a token. It's
Just-
actually
yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So anyway,
I mean, I don't see myself going through all the rigmarole of setting all that up, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
it's not too hard. You just send them your wallet ID and then hit up Patty in the Slack channel. But I didn't say that out loud.
Whoa. Okay. Maybe I'll dust off my old 4980 Ti system.
There you go.
Dude, the 4980 Ti's, you can sell those on eBay for $250 a piece right
yes,
now.
you can. Yes, you can.
Really?
I sold 5 of mine. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Speak.
I'm a
Fury of those
lazy
eBay
individual,
You're what?
I'm a lazy individual.
Yeah, I know. I
I just like to do my work and then not do work.
Right.
Mostly I'm doing work though.
We got some great suggestions on other engines to cover here. What do we got? Standard render, pro render.
Okay. I couldn't tell if you were joking, and now I can see.
Yeah.
I still jump to standard all the time. I do.
Well,
I use them.
standard, yeah.
I use
still
them for really
can be
simple
used for-
object buffer passes. If I'm doing whatchamacallit, if I'm not doing any motion blur, or if I need luminant objects, You know, those will render way faster in standard versus
Right.
rendering them in Octane or something like that.
A quick
You
buffer
know?
pass. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm doing screens, you know, I'll render all of them in standard render and then just comp them.
Yeah.
You could also
Easy.
just spit out an Alembic file and bring them into Fusion.
I don't use Fusion. I would like to. I would like to.
I like the way you said that.
You know what? And so here's something that is annoying. Have you ever used Red Giant Mir? I think it is MIR.
Oh yeah, a long
Yeah,
time
yeah.
ago.
So what's cool is that you can export out an object, a 3D object from Cinema, and then bring it in, which is way cool. You know, using Mir, and then you just throw the textures on there, which it works great. You know, but then you bring a C4D camera in, and it just doesn't work. Like, it doesn't match the same. That's annoying. You know,
That's
it's
super
like
annoying.
you guys are the same company. It should work fluidly like that. Or any 3D camera should be able to work fluidly like that. I would love to be able to see them, you know, because Mir was fast. It was really fast. You know, when I used it, I'd love to be able to see them like implement that somehow, bringing in like a C4D project file and, you know, extracting all the stuff and being able to choose if you want Mir or not. I don't know. It'd be cool.
Well, you can right now just go open up a scene, any scene, and just like hit that cache to Alembic, right click, I think it is now, and you can just open that Alembic file in Fusion, and it just like your camera's there, everything's there, like the geo's there. Then you just throw like a white material on your screen or whatever, or even like, you know, throw whatever graphic you're throwing on the screen in there, render that out in 2 seconds. You can just leave it live in your comp even.
Oh,
It doesn't
Yeah,
even
see, I
matter.
need you to show me. Yeah, I need you to show me how to do that, because
it's
the
so
amount of
easy.
comping that I do in After Effects and how much of a pain it is, you know, it's like
Yeah,
I
if you're
feel
doing a lot of 3D comping, then
Yeah.
you should definitely be using Fusion. If you're
Right,
doing a lot
right,
of
right.
like motion design, vector animations, titles, like that sort of thing, I don't recommend using Fusion for that. But
Yeah.
if you're like doing what you were just saying, dude,
Yeah.
it's perfect. It's perfect
Yeah.
for that.
Cool.
The question about Blender, where we think Blender is going with these render engines. What do you think the best Blender render engine is? I think just about everything's available in Blender, right? So again, it would just,
Redshift isn't yet.
Redshift is
Arnold is not.
Arnold is
Yeah.
not. Okay, well,
I think
it's not as-
I think just
you can
Octane
get
really.
Octane.
Octane Cycles and Eevee.
I don't get how the free render engine stuff works in Blender. Like how are these engines making a profit by putting their stuff for
Well,
free?
Cycles is just made.
Yeah, it's
um,
made by Blender.
It's made. It's part of that Blender foundation, so it's not really a thing. But I think if you're gonna buy Octane for Blender, you're just buying Octane.
Isn't
like
it
there's,
free?
there-
No,
it's not.
it's free. It's free for Blender.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Why
that's
would
what I don't
they
get.
do that? Oh my
I
God.
think it's I think well, it's free
Why?
up to I believe two
two nodes, right?
yeah,
Or
two-
Oh,
well,
okay.
two-
Okay. Well, that makes
two
sense.
no
Okay,
two
so
graphics
it's not
cards.
free. It's
Right.
Not free.
Yeah.
It's free up to two graphics cards, and then
Right,
after that
But
you'll
you
need to
can
pay
dive
for it.
in and you can start messing with it right away. You know, that's
Yeah.
a great point for somebody
gonna
who
say,
doesn't
like-
Yeah,
That's insane if it's like straight up free. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I get it.
Oh, if
one
free
GPU.
one GPU.
there you go. So that
Yeah.
that makes a hell of a lot more sense. I was about to be like, I need to call Jules right now.
Right.
Dude,
I'm
you
gonna
need
switch
you
over
need
to Blender.
Can we just like talk? You guys are crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think Blender in itself is a bigger, probably a whole other conversation and podcast, really.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the Octane stuff. There's all those different places you can get it for free. It's not just Blender.
Yeah,
it's
Blender,
and like VJ says,
Unity,
Daz
Unreal.
Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, VJ.
Basically, if the application is free, you don't have to pay for Octane for it.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
For that
It's a
limited
gateway
seat,
drug.
but
as
yeah.
Richard
For
says,
the
yeah.
one
It
GPU.
is.
Yeah.
And OS X, I haven't had a chance to try it on the M1, but I've got the new. I haven't even talked about that. I do have a
Yeah.
new MacBook Pro. It's the first Mac that I've bought since 2012, but it's supposed to be good on there. I haven't had a chance to try Octane on the M1 to just see what it's like. But
yeah, I'm curious about that too. And if you're an M1 Mac Octane user, hit me up. We're always looking for beta testers for our stuff to make sure it works. So yeah, because that's something that we're seeing a lot of people asking about that and whether or not it works. And I know if the second a decent new iMac comes out, or a Apple Silicon Mac Pro, I know Nick is just going to be like, later.
Yeah,
using
for
that now. So I think he's waiting pretty hardcore for that. And because he's still not vibing on the PC thing. But
see, I don't. Yeah, so I was gonna say he should get like an iMac, like a Pro iMac or something like that. I mean, and then just network render, but the network rendering isn't working in between Mac and PC at the moment. You know?
Yeah, I imagine that would be pretty hard to
as soon as it does, like as soon as it's 1-for-1 and you can just, I mean, I've considered it, just working on a Mac and then just having all my PCs as render nodes,
right.
Especially if they can work fluidly between each other.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm all about using whatever's best, like whatever works best. I want to use that.
That's the thing.
And if they come out with like a Mac Pro Silicon, Apple Silicon machine, and it is if it's a marginal difference between what I would do on a PC, and I get the UI, and I get iMessage on my computer when I want to like text my kids or whatever, I don't have to like go to a sister device, and if the setup is easy, all of those things, and it looks great, obviously. I would.
Wait, are you on an iPhone now?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
Yep.
I was going to show you my watch,
around.
but I don't ever. I forgot to put it on because
here's my Fitbit that I prefer because the battery lasts more than a day.
I hate it. I hate it.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
So it was annoying because it'd be like, oh, you're so close to closing your ring, and I was like, you just gave me that notification and took me away from what I'm doing. So I turned off all the activity stuff. And then it would say, oh, you need to stand up. And I was like, you just took me away from what I was focusing on. My ADD is already bad enough. So I had to turn off the standing thing. I turned off all my Slack notifications. So really, it was just a watch at that point.
Well, that's not its fault. That's your fault.
You got to set it for the important
not being able to
notifications.
multitask.
Like that's not like it's doing everything that you thought you wanted it to do until it did it for you, and then you're like, well, actually I don't really want this.
Yeah.
And so it's more but I switched back. I was a Pixel guy since Pixel 1, and then I just noticed the Pixel team, a lot of the Pixel team, original team left, and the hardware went downhill, and the software experience started going a little downhill. And that's just when iOS 14 announced, and widgets and the new UI and all that sort of thing. And then the new iPhone with the flat edges, which I'm a huge fan of. I was like, it's time for a change. Like, I'm going to switch back. And I needed an activity watch. I needed that just for the health stuff. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot. So I went all in. I went iPhone. Apple Watch. I even got an iPad Pro, which is what I do all my Slack and everything.
So nice, isn't it?
It's great.
Oh, dude, it's the best. And so I've been, and then I even went as far as I dusted off my old Apple TV, plugged that in, and did the whole thing. Yeah. And I gotta say, they nail the freaking experience, man. They nail it.
They do. Yeah.
Except the battery life, man. How long does it take for you to wear down your battery on your watch?
I've never worn it down.
I've never worn mine down either.
Well, how often do you have to charge it? Is my question.
Gen.
Every night.
You have to charge your watch every night.
Yeah.
You go to bed.
Take it off.
Put it on
the
your
little stand, and then you're good.
Do you want to wear your watch through the night? That would drive me crazy.
To track my sleep, absolutely.
I'm not.
I track all that. I track my sleep and my oxygen levels when I'm asleep and all that.
I just know I have bad sleep. That's the way it is. I think
I get what you're saying though. If you have sleep apnea or if you have a sleep health problem, for sure. And I think that that there's even a newer one that I saw being hinted at that is going to be able to do even more health monitoring type stuff beyond blood oxygen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the newer ones you charge them like every couple days, and they have new low power modes and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's always a price to pay for that stuff. Like it takes power.
I used to have an Apple
I-
Watch, and I don't anymore. I have a Fitbit watch, and I love the fact that I don't have to charge my watch every night. I can charge it once a week.
Yeah, I don't
That's
mind.
great.
See what I bought this little stand that has it's
charging
wireless
things.
wireless charging for my phone, right?
Your
It's got the
iPods,
thing
or your
for my
what are they called?
my AirPods,
AirPods,
right?
Yeah.
So charging for the AirPods and for the watch as well. I just take everything out of my pocket, put them all up, go to bed.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Great.
I don't know, man. Like, to me, the writing was on the wall with the Pixel and Android not having a good watch, not really knowing what they were doing with their hardware, and then all the privacy stuff that I started thinking about more and more of lately. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try this other thing, and it's been great, man. I love it, and the fact that they really pay attention to design. As a designer, I very much appreciate the attention to detail and all that with their hardware and software.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether I would like the widgets or not, but I really like them.
Dude, they're
like I
great.
like being able to see my weather and my stocks like immediately.
Oh,
you
hell
know.
yeah. Hell yeah.
So
Yeah, I've got, I'll show you this setup that I've got. Let me go. I don't know if this is going to come through or not, but you got to have, like, your stocks and your widget
Right.
sets
Stonks.
set up.
Yeah.
right.
Stonks. Yeah, it's great. Their widgets are better looking than Android's, which I'm sure a lot of people will be pissed that I say that, but they are. They look better.
Yeah.
Any other? We're gonna switch gears. Any other render stuff? I think the only other thing I see is just Blender and Octane Blender and Octane compared to like Octane and Cinema 4D. I think we already kind of addressed that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and in the chat, the people in the chat kind of agree too. It's the integration of Octane inside of Cinema 4D is mountains in comparison.
I think
to what
a
you've got in
majority of the
Blender.
Octane users are either using it standalone or using it in C4D.
It's just
you know.
so great in C4D.
Yeah.
It's just
You got
built very well.
you got us and David Ariev who have been pushing it for since version 2.
right.
That where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
I would like to see everybody get into the standard of the node material editor in Cinema, the new one.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see that. I don't know why that development
think-
seems to have halted.
I think Amit built his own, his own node viewer or whatever. I think they're implementing that into all the other versions of Octane.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm talking like I want to use that native
Right.
node material editor
Yeah.
that they've built, because it is nice, and it just seems like they built it and then nobody's using it.
Right.
Well, of course, we're coming up on, April or whatever, and so like on the last stream, Paul hinted at something. He said something about April. So I feel like maybe a lot of people right now are just kind of holding off for announcements.
I was mentioning to Dave the other day. I said, we got this one big project that we're working on, and it's like if they come out with a subscription version, a new one, it's like, oh well, I guess we can't move over
Yeah,
until
it's
this
so
whole
hard to
project
upgrade.
done.
It's
you
really
know?
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want
It
to
is
upgrade
hard.
in the middle of a project.
Yep, I get it. I'm one of those, because doing development, we have to be on the latest versions of everything.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah,
I
for sure.
understand. I understand how it is in production. You don't want to, if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. Yeah. Speaking
Right.
of which, let's switch gears to some GSG talk for a little bit. Talk about what's going
Yeah,
on
totally.
there. What have you been up to? What are you working on? What's the latest news?
It's crazy. We've been extremely busy working on Plus, getting Plus going, and adding all this new stuff to Plus, both from the way the stuff is delivered to new products, new training, all that sort of thing. We redid the website. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, but the most recent thing is that we dropped car paints, which is an amazing set of car paints. We dropped a new edition of Area Light Maps, Volume 2. We dropped a new set of Surface Imperfection smudges, and we dropped some new training on car rendering. So
Nice.
that's kind of the latest thing. But the car paints I'm really proud of. I think they turned out really, really good. And we were lucky enough to have OSL be implemented into Redshift just as we kind of finished our flake system that we custom made for our car paints. And so you're getting like procedural, really nice flake system for car paints, which is a huge, like, I didn't want to do car paints unless we could deliver a procedural based flake in all 3 renderers that looked as close as we could to each other, which is like really hard to do. So
And who's developing all of that? Do you kind of head that process now? Like, how does that all work?
So I hired, it must have been maybe a little over, maybe it's a year and a half now. I can't remember. Might be just a year. I can't remember. But I brought on Sean Astrom. I don't know if you know Sean,
Yeah,
but
of course.
he's fantastic.
He's in the
chat. Yeah, Sean's in the chat. He has been helping tremendously to help build these assets. So I'm in more of a leadership role, but I still get my hands dirty on quite a bit of stuff. But yeah, so he's in there. His day-to-day is like making killer assets for Plus.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And what about OSL? Are you having to like get someone specifically to take care of OSL? Because I can't imagine that that's something that most everyday people know how to program.
No, we have artists and people that we bring on for specific things like that. Mm-hmm. And because I don't know how to program an OSL, so we just kind of work with them, and essentially they become freelance developers for us. Yeah, and yeah, we are. If you know OSL and you want to join our roster of freelance developers, hit me up.
Cool. Now, a couple people in here are talking about Carlo says the new GSG Plus is awesome. Richard says I was on the fence when I bought Plus, but it's so worth it for me. There's been some changes recently. I saw something that came out over email. I think you did an announcement the other day. Was that last week?
Maybe. I don't know.
It was referring to a couple different things. Number one, I think tutorials, like classic tutorials. And then also something about the way that plugins are going to work moving forward as far as purchasing and support.
Yeah. So we've been pretty heads down on getting Plus to where we wanted it to be and where we think it should be, and it's getting there now. And obviously, it's a moving target. We're always improving and making it better, all those sort of things. But the side effect of that is we went a little silent on the tutorials front, and we had to move a lot of stuff off of Vimeo, and we weren't sure where to put it and all that sort of thing. So we're now in the process of remastering just a ton of classic tutorials and stuff that people have watched on Vimeo for years, and remastering it, putting proper heads and intro, outros, new thumbnails, getting them up on YouTube, and letting them live there permanently. So that's a huge undertaking. We have thousands of videos. Like, I'm not even joking. There are so many that now we have the ability and the time to kind of organize all that and get that back out this year. So I'm stoked about that. So you're going to see a lot more tutorials. In fact, I just dropped an Octane tutorial on YouTube last week, I think. It was like my first.
The last one you did. Everyone's gonna think you're an Octane guy.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I love that. I actually love playing like that, and just like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, and the next week I'll do something completely different. Anyway, but yeah, so we're getting back into that. In fact, I have an Octane Aces tutorial coming out next, which is like, so it's a real quick little video.
When you do the Octane Aces, when you're doing that, are you going into like post production onto it, or like
No, it's just strictly 5 minutes. Get Aces set up in Octane. I don't go through.
It'd be cool to see bringing it into somewhere else. I don't know if
I do that
even interested in doing.
Oh
that.
yeah, there you go.
I do that in Plus.
Yeah.
So
okay.
If you're a Plus member, you can dive a little deeper into the whole Aces thing and learn about comping footage that was shot on different formats and all that sort of thing.
Are these remasters that you have? Are they like what if they're so old that it's like Cinema 4D 11.5? Like how do you deal with that?
I think that they just go way further down in the priority list of like putting them anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So they just kind of
come on, we need the 7-Up cherries.
I was going to say that specifically.
We need the 7-Up cherries.
Yeah. I don't know where that one is. I'll have to look into that one. I feel like I've seen other people request that too.
It's just
that might be
right. Isn't that what you use? Just attractors.
I don't remember.
That might be one of the ones that we moved into Plus. I'll have to check, but it might be in our Gorilla U kind of like interface. I'll look into it for you. I'll find it. That was
one of the first ones that I followed along with back in the day, and I loved every minute of that because it taught me so much.
When he made it, I was like, Nick, what are you doing, man? What is this? This looks pretty good, I gotta say. Like, because I was kind of like always kind of hating on cinema back in the day, and when he put that out, I was like, okay, this is interesting, and it kind of perked my ears up and kind of planted that seed for me. Mm-hmm. So that is a cool tutorial for sure.
Gosh, I mean, even the lighting stuff that it taught me about, like how to make those cherries have a nice little like strip of light, on the kind of on the side of them and whatever, and place the light all nice and all of that, man. It was just. And then I finished it up and I stuck it right into my demo reel, like
right, like
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah. But and then the other thing about plugins is that we are doing away with perpetual purchasing of plugins and putting all of our chips into the subscription basket and sort of like simplifying our offering for people and just trying to make Plus as good as we possibly can. Like. I'm not even like talking as like a GSG like employee, but like the value that you get and what I see coming this year and what's already dropped even, I'm like, this is kind of like too much stuff for people for this price. but I don't, that's Nick's call. But I think it's an incredible value and it's only going to get better.
We'll just start calling you Crazy Ashley.
No, I mean,
how can I afford to put all this stuff in the subscription?
How can we stay in business?
I know. I'm like, Nick, don't do this. Crazy Nick. But
Nick.
It's crazy, man. Like we're also seeing quite a bit of people starting to understand what we've been trying to build for the last year, and it's just now starting to, I think, click. And so we're seeing a lot of new people join the platform, and we're really excited about the numbers that we're seeing. So we're really happy to all you new members out there. Thank you very much. And
I need to download those surface imperfections and the metals, the new metal stuff. I hate having to create anisotropic stuff in Octane. I can never get it right.
Yeah, the tech product material collection that we put out before we did the car paints is really, really useful. In fact, it didn't work. We didn't really plan it this way, but they work really well with the car paints because you can use a lot of the tech product materials for the interior of your car. And so it kind of works out. There's the awesome dude, Nick V, who does the car rendering training in this new drop. He also kicked out some really killer car renders, and he's been sharing them on his social, and we've been putting a few of them out as well. And he's been like, dude, I'm using these for this interior, and he like showed me this Octane render of like a dashboard, and it looks totally real. And it's like, he's like, this is your leather, this is your plastic, this is the. I'm like, oh my god, that's rad, dude. I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah, we've used your textures and materials on
it's just so easy to just like jump into the Octane whatchamacallit,
the database, Octane database.
The Octane and then
wait, you guys aren't on Plus yet?
We are on Plus. I just, we haven't downloaded any of the new stuff yet. I'm sorry. That's why I'm saying I need to do it right now.
Yeah.
I literally had to reset my password so that I could get into it, so that I could then download it.
I got you.
But
I
as
got
you had
man.
it set up before, like the original packs that you had, like I've been using those. It's like always the first place that I go,
That's
my
great,
Octane database, and just bam, 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 just go through the library. It's just
Yeah.
such a great base, even if you don't use it all, right? Like sometimes it's like, man, I really like how the scratches on this look or something, and I'll import it and I'll just use one material,
Art.
or a normal map or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you haven't messed around with our library in Plus, like that's really what I think is the thing that I was hoping it would do, which is like something that you keep docked, that you just have at arm's length, that you can grab anything, grab a surface imperfection map, grab an HDRI, grab a material, and it's all right there. And we're continuously improving that. We just brought Search 1.0 to it in this last drop, so you can actually search. And obviously, we have big plans for search to make that a lot more robust. But yeah, I mean, that really is how I want them to be used. Like, we want them to be like, oh, I love this one, but I just need to use its roughness, or I just need to tweak its color, or whatever it is. Like, absolutely. Like, we're putting a lot of time and energy into assets for Plus, and Sean is a big part of that. And we have a lot of really cool stuff coming out, even in the rest of this year is already planned. And I can't really talk about it. There's people listening that will get very angry with me if I say anything. But yeah, it's exciting, man. Like I'm super stoked for what we want to do with it, and not just like the materials too, but like the surface imperfections, the new area light maps, and all that stuff is just like we're just always coming up with ideas of what we can put into the platform. And now we have this delivery system that we can do that with like very little effort. We can like come up with an idea, put it into development, and then it just shows up in your hub. Like,
That's cool.
Like that's kind of what we want to build.
And somebody asked a question too.
For those, not me personally, but for those who haven't used the hub, could you just explain a little bit about the hub for them?
Yeah, so you might remember back when, you might have a Grayscale Gorilla plugin, and you have to like know where it goes, and then you got to copy and paste it, or maybe you have an installer and all that jazz. Well, we simplified that entire experience down to what we call the hub, which is a little utility that runs inside of Cinema. And we'll show you what's available to download, what's available to use, and you just simply click install, and it does it all behind the scenes, installs it where it needs to go. You're logged in, everything is cool, and then you just restart Cinema, and whatever you had installed or downloaded shows up.
Similar to the way Cineversity works, right? Their plugins?
Very, very, very similar.
Okay.
Yeah,
See,
very similar.
I'm just lazy. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
it's my
you know,
only
I just
excuse.
downloaded it. I'm telling you, the second we get done, I'm installing it. Dude,
like,
I'm very excited.
I've become so spoiled by it now that like when I have to do something manually, or double click an installer or something, I'm like, what is
a
this?
baby's toy.
It's barbaric.
That's
it's like a baby's toy. That's
I'm like one of the like you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I get so set and okay, everything's working right now. I don't want to change anything. And it's like, oh, you mean I have to figure out how to install this? And I'm like, it's probably so easy. And it probably takes 2 seconds, but I'm just like...
I know, the other day he was complaining about having to update all of the render nodes for Octane. And I was literally in the time you were complaining, I just parseced into all my computers and redid it.
Yeah, it's just that I have to take the time to do it, make sure they're the same. And part of the process for me, too, is like, okay, I have to make sure that it runs now in startup and all of that. And it's probably easy. I'm just lazy,
Well, then this is the platform for you, man. Like seriously,
all right.
Literally, like
Sold.
and our developer is so talented that like he'll do an update and he'll be like, yeah, it's in the hub now. Just go grab it, and I'll be like, oh damn, you already put that out? That's crazy. So it's definitely cool, and the library is basically just. It's not just, it's actually an awesome plugin in itself that serves up all of our assets in one interface. And it works with HDRI Link. So if you pop over to the HDRI tab, you can just start clicking through HDRIs, pop over to the Surface Imperfection tab, drag in a Surface Imperfection, and obviously go to all the materials and grab whatever you want. But yeah, and now I think we're going to start putting in some scripts that I've written that will be available to Plus members as well. So those will be just, they'll show up in the hub. For instance, these camera lens scripts that everybody's been wanting me to put out. We're putting those out very soon, and they'll just show up in the hub, and you'll just click install and like restart Cinema. And you got them. Like, you got them.
Are those now the scripts? How would that work? Like, if it's a camera lens, what is it actually doing? No,
they're not. I should explain what that does. So I made these like Python scripts that emulate a set of prime lenses. So if you know about cinematography, cinematographer uses a set of fixed focal length prime lenses to shoot their films or whatnot. So like a 15, maybe a 35, a 55, whatever. And so I basically set up a script that emulates those, sets you to the right focal length. And that seems kind of like easy. Like, why would I need a script to do that? Well, because if you're using anything other than a horizontal aspect ratio, like a landscape aspect ratio, let's say you're doing like a square or like an Instagram story aspect ratio, the field of view is wrong. The way that Cinema, the way that Cinema calculates it, you can't just say put a 35 millimeter on a portrait aspect ratio render and have it look like a real 35.
I never thought about that.
Gotcha.
You will if you've ever done like set up a shot with like a 50 mil in a 16:9 aspect ratio, and then the client says, yeah, can you do a square crop of just that one thing? And then you just change the aspect ratio and the lensing looks wrong.
Right.
And you're like, wait, why does this look wrong? It's because the field of view isn't correct. So the script actually does the math for you. It doesn't matter what aspect ratio you're at. It'll set the correct focal length and or not focal length, but
I had to do something like that similar. It was for a commercial that we were doing, and they're like, okay, now let's render it this way. And I was like, oh, well, I need extra parts from this render, so I actually, what I ended up doing is I just offset the field of view, by like 50%, and then did that like 4 times, and I had like 4 times the view.
That works until you try and export your camera and use it in comping. And
right.
It doesn't import those
and it kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Well, this script doesn't actually do anything with the bound, the offsetting or anything like that. It just simply like, I want a 50 millimeter lens to look like a 50 millimeter, no matter what aspect ratio I'm using. And it was driving me crazy for years. So I just like quickly made it in Python, and then I showed it in a stream, or I showed it somewhere, and people were like, I need those scripts.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, cool. Let's do scripts in here now and see how that works. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool that you can like that. So as you're creating this stuff, are you able to upload it like just immediately? Like you're like, oh, I need a new metal. So I create a metal. I'm going to throw it in here, and now it's added into the new metals or something.
It can't be that. I wouldn't give myself that much power.
All right.
Because like literally, like another thing that we take really seriously is like stability, and we don't want things to be wrong. We don't want things to break and all that sort of thing. So we test everything that we put out. We like rigorously test it.
Cool.
And so we probably wouldn't do that. It would be more like I'm working on a smaller little material collection that won't be a part of like a big drop, but might be like a little thing that we'll add sometime soon. And even that has to be like given to the developer and tested by the team, and then it's checked as okay, it's good to go. And we have a beta team too, and the beta team will get it. So if you're on the beta team, you get a different hub than our regular users, and they get advanced access to stuff so that they can test it. So it's a legit like operation. It's like we've come a long way in the time that I've started there.
That's awesome.
One of the questions in the chat was about being able to do multiple seats. Where did it go? I don't know where it went. Jeff said, any chance having 2 nodes with a single license of Plus will happen?
Yeah, it's going to happen. I don't know when. It's actually trickier than we anticipated. So we are working on that right now, trying to figure out that stuff. And yeah, we wish we could deliver that right now, but we're still kind of working out the kinks on the back end and making sure everything works properly. But yeah, I mean, it's coming. I wish it was coming like today, but be patient.
Cool.
It'll get there.
And I see Bob Walmsley is in here. You can't give away any
What's up, Bob?
secrets. Yeah, I'm waiting for that GPU though.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they'll have some stuff soon. Now, when you're managing these teams, though, one of the things that you've been using is Notion, and we've been using Notion a lot.
Y'all do that. I'm gonna run to the restroom.
I
real
wish you
quick.
would. So,
Oh, that's amazing.
now we get to nerd out a little bit.
Hell yeah, dude. Nerds
doesn't-
unite.
Matt doesn't like the organizational nerd stuff because he doesn't like to organize. But
He's gonna go off and have some ice cream, some vanilla ice cream.
right. That's it's something that I know that you've been into for a while, and I had been seeing your posts about it, and I did have my own system and whatnot that I had used. I started back in the day with, OmniFocus, and I was doing the getting things done method, and then I simplified it. I went to Todoist. I was doing okay doing Todoist, but one of the big things for Todoist is that it's very much date based. It's not project epic based or any of that, right? So you're working on something and then you realize these 4 things didn't get done. Then you got to like go in every day and change the dates on the things that you didn't get done or that you need to move around. Everything is based on what day it is. And
Right.
Not only that, but obviously it's not as powerful. So you've been into it for a while. I've been into it for a month or so, and I will say even in that little month, I spent maybe a weekend trying to figure out what it is, how to use it, because you get it and you're like, I don't know what to do with this. But once you dig into it, the hole opens. You go down the rabbit hole. You realize how powerful it is, and it has honestly, in the month that we have started using it, our business at the same time for our different businesses that we have has exploded in many aspects, as far as the amount of projects we have, the complexity of the projects we have, the people that we're working with, adding contractors, adding people to work. All that has happened, and I do feel like it has been completely instrumental in the last month in keeping us on track for the ridiculous amount of work that we have going on, which we're very fortunate to have. So I guess the number one question would be, how did you get into Notion? And the number 2 question is, what do you use it for?
Okay, so I'm kind of a project management geek. I nerd out on productivity, all the things that you just mentioned. I'm into that stuff. So when I started at Grayscale Gorilla, there really wasn't a whole lot of software-based systems for managing lots and lots of different stuff. And so we tried Monday.com for a while.
Right.
And that was like a project management system, online-based, cloud-based, and it was okay. It did some things pretty well and other things it didn't. But then I started realizing that not only did we need something that could manage projects and manage people and all that sort of thing, but we also needed a wiki, because we had so much information about our business that was spread out across Google Docs and emails and this and that and like notes and stuff like that, that we needed a wiki that could be like our second brain, that we could remember things about how we run. And then I was like, well, then that's when I started like researching and seeing if there was a solution to 2 separate problems. Like, what if Monday.com isn't doing it for us for managing projects, and Google Docs isn't working for like wiki type stuff, is there some replacement? And that's when I discovered Notion and realized that like, oh, okay, so here's a program that is kind of like Google Docs and kind of like Monday.com and kind of like Todoist and also kind of like a wiki, but it's all in one thing. And I was like, this is confusing, number one. When I went down that same weekend that you did, where I was like, I don't know what this is yet. And once I kind of like got my feet wet with it, and I made a page, and I think I made like a table, and I made like a shopping list. I made something as simple as like a shopping list. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is everything. This is just like, this is whatever we want it to be. Okay. So then I like took a step back and I built our Notion Grayscale Gorilla. Thank God, like I work at a place that is like super cool and open to like me completely changing their systems. And like, I was like, guys, we're going to try this. And I don't know yet if it's going to be great or if it's going to suck, but we're going to try it. And we built our entire company system onto Notion: project management, task management, everything in the Para workflow, which I can talk more about if you want. But I think people might fall asleep. But the basis of it is like we built that first version of it, and it worked so well that I built a new version of it that's even more kind of streamlined. And now I would say that we couldn't really operate at the amount, we couldn't operate with the amount of flexibility and as fast, we couldn't move as fast as we do now without it. Like we literally use it every single day. Our project managers, executive producer, myself, everybody is on it all the time. We do all of our updates, all of our reviews, all of our approvals, everything is on Notion.
Yeah. There's a system that I built when Matt and I first met, and we were working back at this production company where we were very much a cookie cutter type place. You know, we're pushing out local commercials on a national scale every day, and there's always the same kind of workflow with it. And so I meticulously built this system that was very much like Notion. But before this happened, the place was using folders, like physical purple folders with sheets of information in them, and that was the project management. God. And so I built a system, and I called it Purple Folder, and it was a Drupal site that had the same type of things. You know, you could do a drop down and say status, and then you could type a note, and you could assign a person to a project, and all of that. But it all had to be built by hand. So this is like Purple Folder on crack, with my favorite thing with Notion, which is the ability to just change something on the fly. You got a database, you know, we need a column for such and such. Well, hit the plus button and add that column. You know, it's not like you have to start over. You don't have to change anything. You just hit a button. And it's been great.
I went as far as like, I built our Notion, the Grayscale Gorilla Notion, which is massive. And, but it's contained under a set of rules, which works really well. Then I went and on a weekend, I built a studio in a box Notion that I was like, I think I mentioned it to you, Dave. I built a completely separate Notion with the idea that I could onboard a studio and maybe they buy it from me or something. I don't know. Yeah. And I never really went anywhere with it, but I have this like, I have to give you a tour of it sometime because I think you really dig it.
We need to collab on that.
It has every like
nerd
I went super far, dude. Like there's an invoice database, a CRM database that ties into your client database. It's all connected. All the data is connected. So if you enter a new client and you can track how much money that you've made with that client since day one. I went a little nuts with it, and it's like some people sit around at the TV, watching TV, knitting or like or whatever, and I'm sitting there like my knitting is Notion. I'm like, organizing these crazy systems.
That's funny. I'm with Jeff Burns in the chat. It's like I'm so awful with project management. Like I just don't like. My self-diagnosed ADD brain can't handle that much information, that much boring information all at once.
Which is understandable, but when you get to a certain point, you have to use it, or else there's no way to maintain a large project.
I think that's fine. Like you don't have to like. I think that you don't have to care enough or know enough to set it up. You just have to make yourself use it. So whatever system you make or you build or you find, it just use it. Like somebody once told me the best productivity system is the one that you use. I do think it
also has a very steep learning curve.
Well, like, it does, but you can
Dave has taken some time to explain it to me, and then even today I was like, "Where is this?" And he's like, "It's over there." And I'm like, "Where is that? Can you point? Can you just tell me what it is?"
That
He's like, "No, just look there."
That's the biggest hurdle by far. Like you nailed it. Like we have, there's people like Grayscale Gorilla who, feel the same about it. And I think it is like, you're never going to find the perfect project management system. The perfect project management system is the one that you use.
Right.
Like, that's it.
Exactly.
Because it's not necessarily ever going to be perfect. But I think the solution for you would be to, like, all right, have Dave set it up. Dave tells me what I need to do, and I do it. And if you don't stick to it, though, then
that's the thing.
Then that's the problem. Like, then nothing will help you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because everybody can have like their super awesome, like, personal way of doing that. But once you're trying to collaborate with another person, neither of those people is going to be able to agree on it. Not even two people. So you have to look at it and say, okay, what is almost working for both of us, right? So, an example is, I can build this system out because I understand it. Matt, you don't have to know how to build it. If anybody is looking to build it, I would say the number one thing you need to do, first of all, is sit in front of it and try and build something that makes sense to you. Don't just mess with it. Come up with a plan. But then when you do that, if you're working with other people, get their input. But then if you understand it, like, enough, like for Matt, I could help you. We could sit down and do like what I did. I have a Dave's task list that is a private thing on my Notion. And it goes through and it finds only the things that A, I can work on, what's actionable, B, stuff that is only due within the next week, let's say, and then C, only gives me the bits of information that I need to see right then. And that's like with that ADD thing, Matt, where you could say, okay, I need a dashboard that tells me what I need to do right now, and that's it, and just leave it at that.
I mean, I had to onboard a lot of people onto our Notion who are not like super tech and like not super into Notion or whatever. And so I had to design a system that would be simple enough for somebody to just jump in when they need to, and then robust enough for a PM who needed to dig in and like go crazy with it. And I give everybody a dashboard. When you start at GSG, I make a Notion dashboard that only has stuff that's pertinent to you on it. You don't need to go anywhere else if you don't want to, except for that dashboard. And any tasks that get assigned to you or deliverables that get assigned to you will pop up on your dashboard with information. Yeah. So all you need to do is monitor that, and like, you're good. And that just comes down to having somebody in the organization that is into it and can build that system to where, because you're right, like, you shouldn't have to build a technical system that only works for Dave. Like, you got to have it work for the people that like Matt, who don't necessarily want to dive in. And you build the system for them, and then you kind of work backwards. And that's what I did. In fact, I recently tweaked it because one of the issues that we have as a company is getting things approved on time, because we have so many things that need my eyeballs or Nick's eyeballs that it's hard to get those approved. So I built a review dashboard that just populates stuff that is up for review. So he or I could just go into that one dashboard and just chunk through the list of things that need our eyeballs.
But it's really nice to have the different options and the different views as well, because people do work differently. So you might have that master table view, but maybe somebody, that's too much. That's information overload. There's a billion things. So then you switch over to gallery view. And okay, this only shows a picture of everything. So I can, like, for example, we have every episode of that is coming up for this show and of the drop, and who it is, and everyone is separated, and what date it's going to be on, and what all the social media information is.
That has been excellent.
Yeah.
Like, that is very well organized, because it's just like episode. And anytime someone hits me up or randomly asks me on Twitter for a foundation invite, but then says, here, look at my Rarible stuff, I'm able to quickly throw it into,
and you do it as a comment.
That episode of the drop. Yeah.
It's a comment. It comes up. If you tag me in it, then I get it to my phone, and I'm like, oh, Matt needs me to do a thing. Okay. And I'll put that on my list or whatever I need to do. And you could do that gallery view, and it's beautiful. And you go back and organize it so where you can say, like, I have it set up to say, show me every episode from yesterday until the end of time. Because then, like, when I'm working on posting the show, it'll show me, everything that's in the system for the show that we're currently working on and moving forward. I could go into the archive, and that is just a copy of the exact same thing, except it doesn't have a filter for, tomorrow.
Right.
It shows everything. I can go to a timeline view. I can go to a view. I love the view that you can do with things if you have a lot of people on a team, where you can say, let's go to a kind of what's the board? Is it a board view? And you can go to a board view that
Kanban
shows.
board.
Yeah, it's like, these are the tasks for Dave. These are the tasks for Matt. These are the tasks for whatever. And it goes down the list. And in that way, people who think differently and work differently at least have some options, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the biggest hurdle with Notion, is that there's too many options, and it
That's
really,
also the good thing about it, right? That's
right. I know, that's what makes it hard. And honestly, like, I like it because it's so malleable, and I'm a designer, a graphic designer. So like, for me, I can make it look how I want it to look. And like, I understand that not everybody else thinks like that or is like that, and they don't want to have to mess with it. And I get that too. But yeah, for those out there that aren't really familiar with Notion at all, fundamentally Notion is just pages. It's not that's not that different than Google Docs. Google Docs are just pages. The difference between Google Docs and Notion is every page can be organized in a lot of different ways. It could be an entry in a table. It could be an entry in what they're calling a database, which is a database is just a grouping of pages. That's all it is. And
It's
if
like
you
a
start to think,
spreadsheet.
it is, but I think the word spreadsheet intimidates a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it intimidates me. I don't like spreadsheets. Like, to me, like, I like to think of it
Equal,
more
sum.
like, like,
yeah.
I mean, you can do that stuff for sure.
Yeah.
But really, every entry on a database is a page at the root of it. And then when you start to, like, I recommend, if you're even like thinking about it or you're curious about it, find Notion and make yourself a shopping list, and just like look at it, and then do some research. They have a great YouTube channel. You should check it out.
But
I'm not getting
but dig
paid by
into
them,
it.
by the way.
Make it
Even though I should.
Like detailed, right? Put like, here is the store that I want to buy it in. Oh yeah. I was like, what is he doing with his microphone? Oh
Yeah.
Product placement.
I'm such an idiot. I was like moving it this way. I'm like, I'm not being paid by them, but I do love their product.
But do a shopping list, but don't just do like the food. Do like what type of food it is, right? What section it is, what store it's at. Just go into the details. Not that you're actually going to need that for a shopping list, unless you're super
It's
anal.
the exercise of doing
Right.
it.
Yeah.
that
Like
helps
Jeremy
you.
says in the chat, he's like, I plan on trying to use it to organize my TV station delivery list. So set it up. You're going to put their call sign. You're going to put their DMA. You're going to put like the format that they usually like. And you could do that by making your own drop downs or multiple selections. Like get super nerdy with it. Put the contact information, put a link thing in there so that you can always click a link to go maybe to a document that you have that has their specs. Like that right there, you spend, I don't know, 4 hours. Just say I'm going to take 4 hours, and that's a lot of time. 4
Yeah.
hours and make something like that, and then once that little thing clicks, then you're
hooked, dude. You won't
Yeah.
go out, you won't come out for air for a while.
the rabbit hole, the Reddits that you can go find, the stuff people have made as examples. It's like anything that you feel like, can I do this thing? Somebody's probably done it already.
Yeah.
So-
You can always hit me up too, because I'm a huge nerd on it, and I would consider myself to be an expert user at this point. So if you have any questions, you can always hit me up in various Slacks.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. It's helpful when doing, really when working in the way that we work nowadays, where we're not around people. We can't just go to someone's office and say, hey, like, and people are working weird hours, right? So if you want to put a comment on something at 11 o'clock at night, if someone's around, they're going to answer, then they'll answer. If not, you'll get it the next
Right.
morning. And that's great. And working with contractors around the world too, because we're working with people who are on crazy different time zones.
Yep.
So it's really, really hard to manage and throw more contractors at a project at any given time. There's the mythical man month and whatnot. It definitely helps. It definitely helps.
Yeah, I mean, it's the stuff that's, Matt, it's not fun to look at, and it's not like it's not super sexy to think
Yeah.
about, but it's also like really important if you want to scale your business and you want to be able to, not want to kill yourself or your partners or studio coworkers. Building a system that works is like, it's just being able to sleep well at night, knowing that everything's not going to break.
And it's also about sleeping well at night because you went through your list. You know what needs to get done. You know the status of everything that needs to get done. And there's no weird thing saying, did I do everything I needed to do today? I don't know. I'm having trouble sleeping. My brain can't think because I'm telling myself to relax, but I'm not relaxing because my brain is cycling saying, you got to do that thing. You got to do that thing. But if it's marked down as this is good, this is good, this is good, you don't have to work on anything tomorrow until 8 a.m., then you can rest. Then you can get sleep at night.
I still use Todoist in conjunction with Notion.
I do too.
I use it just basically to kind of like jot down what I want to get done that day or that week or whatever.
Dude, right on the same page with you, man. That's still the outboard brain.
But I went a little step further with it, and I basically organize my time based on how long it's going to take me to do something.
Yeah.
So I have a filter in Todoist that is 30 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, or what I call deep work, that is like an ongoing deep project. Mm-hmm. And everything that goes in that list gets categorized according to one of those 4 different time periods. So that throughout the day, if I'm finding myself with an hour at the end of the day, I just dive into this list and say, what do I have that I could get done right now in this hour? Or if I only have 15 minutes left in the day, or I find myself with 15 minutes before I need to go, do something, I'll jump into this list. But by organizing things into chunks of time like that, it really helps me kind of Tetris out my days that get pretty crazy.
Right. Because there are those times where you need to hanker down and get into a project for, 4 to 6 hours and without interruption. And that's not going to happen on the way out the door to go to a meeting.
No, that's the deep work, like I try to like carve out, it's not easy right now, but I try to carve out as much time as I can for deep work, but sometimes it's only 2 or 3 days a week that I can afford to do it.
Yeah. And I do a similar thing when it comes to project, not project status. That status is a different thing, but the priority, I'll put in a priority and I keep it simple at the beginning. It's like, okay, this needs to happen in the next quarter or the next month or the next week. And also I'll put Fortnite in there because there's a lot of things that's like, well, this week or next, I'll put Fortnite in there. But then also I put 2 at the top, and one of them is soon, and it's in yellow, meaning this is happening pretty soon. You probably need to get on this. And then lastly, I put in now with a big exclamation, like, if you do anything today, you need to do these 3 things in red that say now. Like, this has to happen no matter what, today, right away now. And it's kind of a weird system, but it's been working for me pretty well. To each their own, I get that. But because
somebody just commented, I was laughing at somebody said Chad probably walks around with a MacBook Air and a can of LaCroix these days. That's like a producer thing.
Yeah. Well, the head
amazing.
is shaved, and we're wearing the beanies.
I don't know.
So
I can't read who said that though. Did it say Mr. Keyframes? I don't know who Mr. Keyframes is.
Keyframes.
Reveal yourself, Mr. Keyframes.
Mr. Keyframes.
Because that's a good joke.
I got some LaCroix right
I have
here
a
in the
little
fridge.
sticky, like one of the stickies. That's where I list out my projects. That's it. It's easy for me.
Dude,
we've got one
works.
project going right now where it's, they have given us their like Excel breakdown and stuff like that, like when things are due, and it's so much easier just to look at that versus then referencing ours and making sure they're all the same.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
There's gonna be a point though that you're gonna have to adapt to whatever system Dave builds.
I know.
And like that is, I went through the same thing with Nick. Like Nick is not really super into like these types of systems, and so I just had to sort of design them to be as like frictionless as possible, really.
Yeah. Just
And
let me
then,
worry about blank.
Yeah, well, I'm designing the Notion, but then we have amazing project managers and executive producers and really amazing people that keep him on track and keep everybody on track. But yeah, I think the hard part is like you're gonna have to just like let go of your Post-its and like give in to the system.
Yeah.
But you can still use your Post-its for your own things, just like I use Todoist for my own things. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I've
just
got-
don't use it
I-
to manage a project.
Yeah.
I moved a lot of my stuff over to Notion just for like in just a private to-do list.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing as my stickies. It's just
But what's great is now you can make your own dashboard and you can put the stickies on it. You can put the projects on it. I can see MoGraph stuff, personal stuff, Nexus stuff. I can see a list of, okay, what do I have to do
yeah,
today?
but the thing is, like, I don't have 4 hours to dedicate to Notion right now. You know,
Yeah.
like we're so jam packed with work. Literally, we've got freelancers working 16-hour days right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Damn, you
So,
guys are
Making overtime, but
Okay,
yeah,
I
of
was gonna
course,
say,
we're paying overtime.
Yeah, yeah.
you
of
guys are
course.
killing people.
it's
out there.
voluntary.
Yeah.
It's voluntary.
Yeah, it is
'cause they want-
voluntary.
Yeah.
I keep saying I'll get you more people, but
But
he's cool with handling the work.
That's the mythical man month. It doesn't always help
Yeah.
to throw people out of project.
Right, exactly. It's like the amount of time that we would spend onboarding another person.
You could have
That
just
other
done the
person could
work.
just get the work done.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I get that, and it's kind of it's a catch-22. Like you could probably be more effective if you had a good system, but you can't find the time to make the system because
Right.
you're too busy.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, you got to make the time, and you got to like put in the maybe now is not the exact time to set it up, but like
But maybe
doing
in,
it
like, a
will
month.
save you.
Yeah.
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 That's what I did initially is like whatever weekend I built all that stuff on, I didn't really have the time to do it. You know, I just kind of said, you know what, this just has to happen. It just has to. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like what needs to you're gonna have to lean on whoever finds it interesting enough to like put in the effort.
right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm
And-
fine
and
with
that's-
that. I'll build
Yeah,
it.
and honestly, like that's great. Like if you don't have a lot of opinions about it and just want it to I just want to do my work. Like I don't want to think about this. I just want to do my work.
Yeah.
And then I'd say the two of you have a perfect relationship, because if you both had different ideas of how it was going to go, then you're going to be like at butting heads. But if you trust if you trust them enough to go off and build it, as long as you promise to use it, give them input.
Yeah, that's
then
kind
I
of the
think you're
thing.
good.
Like Matt can just
Yeah,
step
I
back and let
can't-
me be the nerd, and
Yeah.
and I'll.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
do
the
it.
problem, though. Like, I can't guarantee that I'm gonna even remember to use it. At least right now, because like
You've been doing all right.
That wouldn't
You've
e- that
been
wouldn't
doing
I
even
good.
really
be-
haven't. I've been like the drop. That's easy. It's like, okay, I know where that is.
Yeah.
But it's like some of our projects and like keeping track of all that stuff. Okay, I see it, but I don't know where's it assigned. Where's who's
So,
handling
I
what?
would- I would not let that fly. Like I would not let that fly. Like
Yeah.
I would be honest. I would be on like a Zoom with you and being like, all right, where's the hang up here, dude? Like, tell me how we can make this work.
And I
better.
would be like, all right, then which of these projects are you gonna handle so that I can learn Notion for the next 4 hours?
And I'll be like, well, let's go to the
as
board
of right
view.
now, I'm not sleeping for the next 24 hours.
Let's go to the
Yeah, I
board
mean,
view. Let's see where it
there's-
falls in. We'll just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you just need to like almost kind of tailor it to be a bit more visual and less impact. Like I wouldn't ask if you're in the middle of a big production, like I would never ask somebody to be like, oh,
Right.
take 6 hours and go watch
Yeah.
some tutorials on
Yeah,
Notion.
see, that's
Yeah.
the thing right now. I would love to get into this. You know?
No,
It's
I would just show you enough.
there are
to
not
get-
enough hours in the day right now.
Yeah, I would just show you enough to do the job that needs to be done, and then just ask that you just do it. And like you don't need to understand what it's all doing.
Yeah.
Just bookmark this page, favorite this page, and click this when you're done. Like that's all
Yeah.
we're saying.
Just put the status of the project. Really, that's all that matters right now. Where is this in the status? Because I can take care of the rest.
Right. Let Dave do all that shit.
I'll worry about blank.
You
Right.
worry about blank.
All right. I think we are. Oh, let me do links because
We're like
I have
two-
one link. What?
All right, one.
What you got?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The one link that I do have is the abstract distortions in Octane and Cinema 4D by David Aria.
Yeah,
Make
it's
sure
done
you
really
check that out.
well. I'm really happy. Like,
Yeah, people are
man.
enjoying it.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. I've been really surprised by the amount of positive feedback we've gotten. I've seen it all over Instagram. People, tagging him in it and him retweeting it or whatever. Regramming, is that what it's called?
Regramming, yeah. Oh, Jeremy had a good point. Yeah, Notion is also really good on mobile. It's
Is
nice
it?
on mobile. Yeah.
Didn't
Okay.
used to be, but it's gotten better quite a bit.
Just get notifications and such. So, all right. You ready to do the drop?
Let's do the drop.
Let's do it.
Drop.
Is this the fucking mic?
Drop.
This is exactly what I should be doing.
What's up, and welcome to this week's episode of The Drop, your weekly source for all things NFT and crypto art, as well as upcoming drops by notable people in the MoGraph industry. Let's do it. All right, what do we got this week?
Chad Ashley's here, by the by.
Chad Ashley's here. I feel like we're really gonna get into the NFTs. If you, as long as you got time.
As long as you got time.
I might have to. I should have went to use the bathroom during that.
Okay, go. Yeah.
Well,
I'll be right back.
You can go
All
use
right,
the
guys start
restroom
off.
while we get into
Yeah, go
this.
for it.
Yeah.
We'll just hop into some of the ones that are going on
Totally.
Nifty and Maker's Place. Go ahead, do that. All
right.
Then we'll jump into some topics with it.
Yeah.
So
All right. So what are we doing?
first up, so let's start off with the this week's drops on Nifty. I would mention the one that's happening literally right this second, but who cares?
Which one is that?
I don't know.
I mean,
It's not
there's
on my-
always secondary market, right?
Yeah, secondary. Okay, and that's an interesting. Remind me about secondary market. Let's not leave without talking about the secondary market. Can you put a pin on that? Because
Okay.
there are things that I want to talk about with the secondary market in Nifty. But first thing that I've got is dropping today, later on tonight, March 29th. We've got 6 and 5. There's these beautiful interior renderings, and there's a can't remember what they called it. The Revolt, that's what it is. So these are really, really pretty renderings, but then I guess there's a revolt from all the different, I don't know, like the furniture or something like that. It looks really neat.
The furniture revolts.
Yeah, the furniture revolts, I guess. So I don't know, really, really pretty interior renderings. I'm a big, I did a lot of it. I've interior renderings back in my day,
Yeah.
and I really have an appreciation of really pretty ones, and I think 6 and 5 does a really good job of that. So if you're looking, if that interests you, if you like that type of art, sure, pick one up. Next up, also tonight, we've got I'm gonna butcher all these names. Robert Hans, and I'm gonna assume the name is Noise. I don't want to say NOS7 and be one of the
It's like saying Dead Mal 5.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So there's these really cool ethereal renders and stuff like that. I love the composition. I think they're super pretty. That one, and then they've got a limited edition physical token with the one of ones. So really pretty stuff. I like it. I thought that one was of notable
Noting.
Yeah, notable noting.
Yes.
So, and a lot of these, if you're following Nifty's Twitter account or whatever, you'll see I'm skipping over a lot of these. Some of them are musicians, and some of them, I feel like if a musician, this is my own personal opinion, if a musician is going to do a collaboration with someone and they're going to do a drop, I think the musician needs to really care about this stuff. I feel like a musician needs to be 100% in, just like the artist is. And like, maybe tweet it out. If a musician doesn't care enough to even tweet out their Nifty drop, I am not going to put it on my list, because
Right.
if they don't care enough about their Nifty drop, why the fuck should I?
All right.
So, all right. Anyway, next up we got also tonight Esteban Diacono, I think is how the name is pronounced. It's cool MoGraphy stuff, similar to the stuff that I think John Norlander did a few weeks ago. This one's called Platonic Love, using like these actual like platonics, like a D20 whatever.
I get it.
What,
I see what you did
yeah.
there.
Yeah. So you got the, as you can see, it's really pretty stuff. At least from what I can tell from this split
From
screen
the
of
strips.
whatever they've got.
Some very
from
pretty
the strips.
strips.
So that is tonight. Starting tomorrow we've got Jason Ebier These are okay. So let me preface this by
I
saying
was gonna say I got a
this one
warning
wasn't
on
going to be
Twitter.
on my list originally. Like I saw this and I'm like, I don't know about this.
I'm
right?
watching this through
But
before I bring it up on the screen. Is this dangerous to bring up on the screen?
there may be some
Nipples?
there may be some nipples. Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
there may
there
be
were
some.
some nipples.
There were
That's-
some nipples.
I think that's
so.
the only thing. So
Okay, so these are weird, like super shiny, sexy looking people. Like, so Shams tweeted this out, you know, that she was really looking forward to this one and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me personally, but I feel like this is very much the NFT crowd. A lot of the NFT crowd would go for that. So anyway,
I mean,
I
it
wanted
beats
to put
having to
that-
do a skin shader.
Right. It definitely beats having to do a skin shader, right. So, yeah, so there's that one today. The same day, tomorrow, the 30th, March 30th, Gold Weird. I don't know if that's how you say it. Gold Weird.
Gold weird.
So you may
Okay.
recognize some of their stuff. They've sold previously on Nifty and they've done really well. Remember the animals, the crystal animals
Yeah.
that you see all over Nifty? They're constantly being sold.
Mhm.
They have a new drop tomorrow. So I don't know. I mean, they've sold well in the past, but who knows as far as investments anymore on Nifty? Nifty's like, I mean, artists. I don't know. I feel I'll get into that.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Next up, the 31st, we got Kid Mograph. Kid Mograph along with Dream Catalog. Dream Catalog, I'm assuming is the musician. And Kid Mograph did 7 unique animated pieces for each of these tracks off this new album from Dream Catalog. Really cool. If you know Kid Mograph stuff, you know it's super bad A. You know, I really like his stuff. So that's coming up on the 31st. Let's see. Okay, so this next one that I'm mentioning, there's I guess it's like a collab between 3 different like artists or whatever, but really the a lot of them are the same, like, you know, shiny head Daz model ones. But
Yeah.
then you've got this first one, which is Frenetic Void, which I was looking at their stuff and I dig their stuff. Like, it's a very Dali-esque, you know, super pretty, like, could very much go along with the same, like, you know, Daz model, whatever, NFTs, but like super weird and abstract. I dig it. I super dig it. So I don't know what they are offering as the 3 artists. Go away, cat. But I'm really excited to see, you know, what is what the drop is going to be. So that's on the 31st. Coming up on the 1st of April, Clarence Molada and Digital Renaissance. Oh, this is Digital Renaissance. So this is they're taking old famous pictures and messing with them in After Effects, and that's something I'd like to talk about, because I think this is a really good topic of discussion on NFTs and stuff. Like, okay, I understand that is definitely, like, you know, you're definitely changing up enough to where, okay, copyright wouldn't exist. Plus, but
Could be
it's
parody,
like, through parody or whatever. But it's like, at what point is it just like, and I'm not saying this with this one specifically, because I think this one has changed up enough. But at what point are you taking someone else's work and then it just becomes lazy? You know, like, for example, Pac or whatever, you know, has done a few drops, and I feel like they've been very lazy. Like, where they take, like, there was one, it was the Creation of Man or whatever, and they just took out a bunch of, like, squares out of it, like, you know,
and that was
and then
it.
sold it as it is. It's like,
As
okay.
opposed to really changing it up like the one we just saw.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. It's interesting taking art is subjective, whatever.
Right.
You know,
right.
like, to each their own. Some people may like super shiny Daz models, you know, with huge muscles and, you know, really reflective boobs, but like, that's not my cup of tea. I really enjoy the architectural renderings and like the whatchamacallit, the ethereal stuff and the, you know, whatever. To each their own. Anyway, so I was, I don't know. It was interesting what y'all thought about that. Taking work that's already done and then just messing with it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it really depends on how you do it.
Yeah.
If you're just taking like Jesus and putting Elon Musk's head on him,
right?
It's like, okay.
Then I'm sold.
Yeah.
It's like so I don't know. There was this skit that was done. I don't know. It was like Comedy Central or something, and this guy wanted to see about how close he could get to the original and still call it parody. Right. So we opened this little pop-up coffee shop called Dumb Starbucks, and basically it sold all the same stuff Starbucks did. He just called it Dumb Starbucks, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you change 1 pixel, is it still copyright thing? What about 2? What about 10 pixels? At what point?
Yeah, how many pixels do I have to change? Like, for example, if it was a 1920 by 1080 and I just rearranged every pixel, is that still their work?
It's like the adage about if something is considered nudity art, or is it porn? There is no defining description of what that is. You just know it when you see it.
I guess.
And it's different for every person. So,
yeah. Anyway,
I don't know.
Chad, do you have any opinions on that?
I mean, to each his own, right? Like, I'm not gonna like criticize somebody's reason or motivation, or when it comes to art, it's really personal. So it's kind of like whatever they want to do, they should be able to do whatever the hell they want. Like, I'm not gonna judge that. If it was commercial work and that's different. Like, that's a different set of, like, in my opinion, like rules or ethics, I guess. But if it's art, and if I put out a piece of art and I smudge it with a smudge brush in Photoshop, and I release it as a new piece of art, that's my prerogative. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Absolutely.
I can do it. I can do whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, you may think that it's like cheap and not low effort or whatever, and that's okay. You don't have to buy it. Like, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't think we should. I don't think any of us. I think everybody should keep those types of opinions, like, almost to yourself, really, because it's like, I don't know, like, you don't know the reason, like, you don't know what's behind it, you don't know why, and at face value, we as craftsmen know how the sausage gets made. Right. So I think it's easy for us to be like, well, I know how that's just this and that's just that.
Right.
Yeah. And you, like, have to, like, fight that instinct, because you do know how the sausage is made. You have to fight that instinct and say, well, no, let's think about it. And of course, there are going to be people out there that are just, like, making random stuff to make money or whatever. But you do have to kind of look at it like, okay, I can't let that cloud my. I can't let that get in the way, and I can't definitely not tear down artists making art, trying to make a living from their art, and all that sort of thing. Yeah, I think I'm rambling now, but
it makes sense, though. It makes sense. Let's get through the other drops, and then we'll circle back.
Well, there's only one more left on the Nifty,
we got a bunch of others. Though.
Yeah. Anna Zilieva. I don't know.
She's the one that does the VR.
She is the one that does. She's a VR painter, which I think, and her showing this one off, what she's dropping on Nifty, that is friggin' gorgeous. Like, and seeing all the stuff that she's doing in VR, like, watch this video. This is so cool. Like, how she really gets into it, and it is gorgeous work. I would love to own one of her pieces.
Yeah.
So I like that right there.
That's a lot of time spent.
Look at the detail. Yeah, right? That's super crazy. Cool stuff. So I love seeing. I think she is the forefront of NFT VR, art that is being made right now. Yeah. So that's it for. And The Weeknd is doing a drop. The Weeknd.
This weekend? Or is he doing it on a weekday? Because that would be completely ironic.
Actually, I think it is a weekend.
So
I think,
off-brand.
I think
Yeah, I
it's
know.
on. I think it's on Saturday. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's like,
fitting.
I mean, The Weeknd. But it's just, and it's not like a collab with anyone else. It just says The Weeknd. So I don't know.
We'll see.
It's if there was an artist associated with The Weeknd who The Weeknd hired to just do work for them, and then they released it as an NFT, I think that's kind of crappy.
I don't know. He
You know,
might have
not
an
doing-
angle. Look at what he did with his angle with like the plastic surgery thing and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
We'll see.
Anyway.
I mean, he knows how to tell stories. It'd be curious to see if he puts in some serious effort into
Yeah.
making
Right.
something memorable.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with musicians collabing with artists. You know, I feel like if you're not in, if the musician is only into it for making a quick buck, you know, I don't think
Then
that's the
what's-
correct
yeah.
mindset you got to have. You know, I think it needs to be, you know,
A natural
you got to do it for the
relationship.
art. Yeah.
I think that the market will correct that stuff. I think people are
Yeah.
pretty good about smelling opportunism as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to, you know, authentic reasons and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, with something as crazy as NFTs have been, there is a gold rush mentality to
Yeah.
it, so it can get harder to kind of determine like who is doing stuff for the quick buck and who is doing stuff because they believe in their own work or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard right now.
Yeah, for sure.
NFTs
The,
are. Yeah.
Did you see the Saturday Night Live skit?
I was
on
gonna
that?
Yeah,
say
that
they're
was
becoming
amazing, yeah.
mainstream. That's in
Yeah.
my links, but yeah,
I think they are. They are mainstream. My parents and my parents' and family. These are like older people. Were asking me about them this weekend. And I'm like, oh, it's mainstream now.
Yeah.
Okay.
the fact that NSL does a skit on it, it just tells you everything you need to know. It's just I watched that and I was like, man, that's the industry that we have all been in
Yeah.
every day for so many years, and now it's on SNL. It's
SNL.
just like
Yeah.
a
You said
jaw-
NSL. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
NSL,
weird.
NFL,
Yeah.
NSL, SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think it's great though. I think it's awesome. I'm excited. I hope it continues. I hope it grows and evolves and becomes another avenue for artists to make money.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And that's the way I see it. I think people are eventually it's going to become a new norm, you know, as a way of artists to make their money, you know? And I'm even seeing it now, like a lot of people they're not posting their Instagram or their Twitter anymore. They're posting their foundation, you know?
Yeah.
It's
I
like-
mean, it makes a lot more sense. Like, why would I think when I kind of like woke up to NFTs, I was like late to the game, like really
Yeah.
late to the game. But I went in like everything. I just kind of dove in and just like wanted to understand it as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And the revelation happened in my brain, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Why are we as in artists who make we make visuals, why are we giving all of our IP away to Instagram? Why are we giving all of our
Right.
IP away to Behance? Why are we helping to build these platforms, most of which are built on the privacy of others, or built to sell you Photoshop? And why not give it, sans minting fees to
Right.
a platform that is there to help you keep making art and not starve to death? And like
Right.
to me, like that made a lot of sense to me. The fact like, why are we posting so much to Instagram for a heart, for an icon of a heart? Like
Right.
why? Like that's crazy. Like why not, post that, maybe the best of the 10 things you made, mint it, and maybe not only will we be able to share it with people, they'll still be able to like it.
Yeah.
But now you actually have a chance of making some money, and you're not putting it into Facebook. If that
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's still, you're still putting money into it. People are making money off of it, but they're making money off of your success, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you still own it. You still own the rights to the work, and that's really key too. And like, yeah, just it makes you think like about all these platforms, these visual posting platforms that artists, filmmakers have built. They've made these billion-dollar platforms that they get no piece of.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it'll normalize. It'll come back around to it's going to come back to a popularity contest again. Just like Instagram or anything else. It's just there's money
I
now.
think as of right now, prices are really inflated, you know, and well, and maybe not for the single ones, you know. If you're looking to collect a single edition of someone, that's the price is probably about right.
You're
you
going
know?
to have your
But
mid-range,
versus
your
like
highs, your lows.
if you've got like a collection of 100 or whatever,
Yeah.
that you know, you're like, okay, here I'm selling these 100, you know, nifties that I made or whatever. Come buy them for $20-$30 a pop. You know,
Right.
it's like that's but then it also comes into the minting fees. If you sell them for $30 a pop, you're actually losing money by doing that. But still,
Hopefully that'll
like,
all change though.
that will all change eventually. You know, there are even some sites, one that Tokyo Megaplex has been using. I don't remember what it's called, but there's basically the minting fees are like pennies, you know? So he's been minting stuff and giving away stuff for free left and right, you know? But it's like once those minting fees are gone and it's just like selling a print, you know, for 20, $30, I think that's where you're going to get a lot of like artists collecting other artists' stuff, you know, because right now, while and this is what I was talking about earlier with Nifty, where it's like it used to be you could buy a Stuzor for $200. He sold his for $200, which is awesome. That's a great deal for just owning a piece of one of my favorite artists, right? You know, I bought 3 of them. I flipped them for $3,500, but that's neither here nor there, you know. But it's like like if you want to own that person's art and maybe like put it on your TV or something like that, you know, that's you're able to do that, you know, you own that art or that print, you know. But it's like it's like now Nifty, anyone who gets on, it's like, oh, barrier to entry $1,300. It's like outside of my price range, totally out.
Yeah.
You are now catering to collectors only, you know, collectors who have a lot of money, who are willing to, you know, and
Which is
why
fine.
in the world, if you're going to spend that type of money, why would you spend $4,000 on an open edition when you could probably go to that person's foundation page and buy one of their single
unique
edition
piece.
peaches for $4,000?
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've only done the single editions, and I don't know, just mainly because I don't know, it just felt more important somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the idea of an edition is not. It's an idea that I've been playing with because sometimes I'll have an idea for something that isn't super grand, and like I still want to like, you know, share that with the world or whatever. So maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know, man. The whole thing is still equalizing, for sure, and it's tricky. I do see it sort of becoming, like you were saying, like the collector, the stuff that, and it's like that way in actual physical art as well. You know, you've got the high-end gallery experience where collectors are going,
Right.
and then you have the art fair at your town. You know,
Right.
in-
Absolutely.
and like that's you're
You
buying
can still
a
have really good artists at the art fair,
Right.
you know,
so
but you
it's-
get them for much cheaper.
Right now, at the beginning stages of this, everything's mixed in. You've got like the art fair person is sitting next to the gallery person.
Yeah.
They're all mixed together right now.
Yeah.
And I think, like you were saying, like it's going to start to evolve into these siphoned areas, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I kind of think it's a little bit bad because it's bad for
think so.
it's bad for discovery.
Right.
And I think that's the challenge, but it's going to do that for sure. It's going to equalize that way. I agree.
Matt, you've got
Yeah.
one more Maker's Place.
Got one more.
and
Jumping
the
over to
name
Maker's
drops.
Place, there was
Yeah.
really only one notable artist that I thought this was neat. So it's Brendan Dawes They use AI to analyze frames from Tekken, the game Tekken, in order to create moving generative pieces of work, which I think that's pretty rad. You know, like I really like the AI ideas of like doing work, like the stuff that like Nathan Shipley does. Man, that stuff is killer. You know, absolutely killer.
Yeah.
So it's neat to see someone doing something more than just like hopping into C4D, throwing some, Forester stuff in there and a DAZ model and being like, here's my art, but
Snake.
like taking it.
Still thinking like a sausage maker.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
am thinking like a sausage making. You're absolutely right. Actually, the drop that's going on, or like right this second, like one, I didn't mention it because the musician didn't mention anything about it, so I'm not going to mention it. If they don't have enough balls to, mention something, I'm not going to mention it.
I do agree with that. I feel like a mashup is something you're supposed to be proud of, or a collab is you're supposed to be proud of, and you're supposed to be ready to promote with this amazing artist that you vibe with, that you really vibed with, and you worked hard together to make this piece.
Right.
If
Because,
they're not tweeting it out, it means they didn't care.
Right.
I don't know. Here's my thoughts on that. Like, we don't know, right? Like, we don't know. Like, there could be so many scheduling conflicts, but the management is saying the NFT time is now. If you don't do this right now, then it's not going to work. Well, I don't have time right now. I'm working on this album. I'm over here. I already got commitments over there. That's okay. Just do the minimum amount of work, and the artist will take, the brunt of it. We just need to get this out now, because now is this whole thing's going to like go dead in 2 weeks.
Right.
But
And
that's
to
the
me,
point. It
that
means
is
it's a
one
cash
big
grab.
cash grab. It's just a cash grab,
Then you're right.
Like,
And
why in the world should I
guarantee
support them if they're just going to do a cash grab?
you don't have to.
Right, exactly.
Unless,
You don't have to.
unless you know the artists and you understand, like,
Here's the
if
thing.
somebody
okay.
if somebody came to you for that,
Yeah,
and
if the Mountain Goats or the Weaker Thans came to me and said we want to do an NFT, I would be all on board. And I'd say let's do a custom NFT. You guys create some custom music for it, and I will create a custom thing, and I will do it all for free right now, and we will split it 50-50. Right? It's like that to me is the way these NFTs should be done.
Because it has
Versus
meaning.
like, okay, here's my track that I just made. Now make a cool music video, and we'll sell it as an NFT, and then you get 10%. But do it all for
if
free.
Reba McEntire came to me right now and wanted something done, I'd be like, I don't know any of your music, but I'll do it.
I thought you were about to say I'm in no matter
I'll be
what.
all over that.
Dude, I've already been approached by like a random brand, and I just don't even know like I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't even know what to do with that. Like, because I don't get it. Like, are you hoping to like use my name, or are you hoping just to have a piece in the space? Like, what is the tie-in? Like, I don't understand it.
Like,
and if
the drop from the other day on Nifty is a really, let me go to Nifty's site and I can tell you who it was. It was let me go to the marketplace. Sorry.
Yeah, we gotta keep an eye on the time, too, here.
Esports
I
and
gotta
Josh
run
Pierce, right? So Josh Pierce is a really good artist and stuff like that. I really like, but then he did it with Red Bull. It's like Red Bull's dropping on Nifty. It's like if you know Josh Pierce's stuff.
Maybe he
Josh
really
Pierce
likes Red
did
Bull.
all that work.
Maybe he loves Red Bull. Maybe it was a...
Maybe.
You know,
that could be
if
true.
Monster came
That
to
really
me,
could be
then
true.
I would be on board. I gotta say, drink Monster Energy drink all the time. Monster Energy drink of champions.
Yeah, I mean, if it was if a skateboard brand came to me, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm taking 2 weeks to do this
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah.
There's that
but
feeling
yeah,
that
this
that's
was
just
not.
art, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a brand of like, it was a food brand, and I didn't really understand, other than that I made some candy NFTs, like what the connection could possibly have been, and even that was like, it wasn't about the food per se.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. So I think that I've been hearing a lot of other fellow NFT artists like getting approached by brands that are just looking. I just want to say that we are in this space. I just want to say that we've made an NFT, and they're just looking to check a box because it's the hot new thing.
Right.
And
just drop something on Rarible then, you know?
Right.
Or how about support some artists? How about like go buy some art and like brag about how you're buying the art, and that's how you get into the space, or like associate yourself with the space. Like support some artists. Like they said,
seriously, if the weekend was to go in and buy like one artist and then promote that artist, that
better.
artist's work would blow up. Like it would increase in value significantly because you've got some famous person talking about this person's art, and then they do a collab together. It's like that's going to make it so much more powerful.
Yeah, they have to invest in the space in order to like get a piece of the community. And like like if this food brand like bought all my pieces, then I'd be a lot more open to listening to them, not just because they've paid me, but it means that they're like invested in the space.
Yeah.
Right.
And like if you're just a brand looking to cash in or put your name against an NFT, even if you're looking to give all the proceeds to an artist, then before you reach out, buy some art. Like go out there and like support some people and like do what good brands do and like get involved. But yeah, anyway.
I agree.
We got some community drops. Dorpy wants to stop by and say hi, but we got to get through these community drops first. So let's get through these real quick. We'll try and go quick here. We're all kind of short on time. So let's start with Joe Herman, our friend Joe
Herman. Yeah, our good friend Joe Herman did his first drop on OpenSea. If you've hung out with us in New York at NAB, you know Joe.
NAB
Come on,
East.
he's around the space. So this is his first drop. You can get it on OpenSea. Next up, we got I don't know if I'm going out of order for you, Dave. Paul Robinson, yes. Paul Robinson just released his first drop on Foundation. Super cool stuff. He was hitting me up this week and he was like, hey, how can I do this? And I was like, use fields and use vertex maps and stuff. And I was like, yeah, now I'm going to do a tutorial on it. I'm very excited about it. But Paul's stuff, super exciting. Yeah. First drop on Foundation. Next up, who do we got?
Aaron Sorensen.
Aaron Sorensen did his first drop, man. So one thing, this is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous.
That water dome.
This is, I will say, and that lens flare at the beginning with the rainbow. Oh, beautiful. So beautiful, right? But I want it to be longer. I want to see more. I want a good loop. I love you, Aaron Sorensen, but I want a loop. Because it's jarring to the eyes, in my opinion. So anyway, who we got next?
We got Zach Corzine next.
Zach Corzine, yeah.
Zach's my boy.
He's got some work on Super Rare right now, Textile Techniques 01. If you know Zach, you know he is like all about the beautiful procedural, stuff. I guarantee you this
the colors,
is done.
man. He's so
always with the colors.
Yeah,
very good. He's
an
awesome
the colors.
designer.
I love his work so much.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Next up, who do we got, Dave?
I also wanted to. Oh man, I got the wrong link here. I just wanted to mention that we mentioned him last week, but I did want to mention that Rev has some more out, and so I'll put a link there. I have the wrong link.
Yeah,
here,
I was just about to say.
Unfortunately.
You're not going to show my stuff? Come on, guys.
Absolutely,
come
we
on,
are.
Let's go.
You
it's on
bet
Foundation,
it's on,
right?
Yeah, is it on Foundation? It's on. Yeah, it is Foundation.
So next up, we've got this really awesome artist. He goes by the name Chad Arnold Ashley. Sorry. Your last tutorial was Octane.
They don't pay me.
Chad Octane Ashley.
That candy dough.
Yeah, no, these are really pretty stuff. I love the sucrose trance. It's really good. So did you, when you're making those, were you just offsetting the value, or what were you doing?
I don't talk sausage, man.
Oh
yeah.
I don't talk sausage when I'm doing my art.
All right.
That's right.
That's cool.
No, I just really love how candy looks, and just the way light bounces around, and just the the response that it gets when you see something delicious like that is just fun. So
Absolutely.
yeah, the one my favorite piece of that series was the first one that sold. I think there's 3 left in that series, but yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh
It's fun.
yeah, you got these 3 here too. The original ones that you dropped.
Yeah, that was the
yeah.
original one, which is funny because
Didn't Nick buy one of them from you?
yeah, so Nick got into a little bit of a bid war for Sphere Ural, and I didn't think Fucking Zen was gonna sell because Fucking Zen was like more my my own kind of like minimalist style, and wanted to do that one for a while. And people actually convinced me to put it up, and I'm like, I don't think anybody's gonna buy this thing.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like the one that sold for the most of the 3 that I put out first, and I'm like, of course that's how it goes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, I've got some new stuff that I've been toying around with, but I'm just kind of letting that stuff sell first before I push anything else.
Yeah.
I got Rev's stuff too. If you want to see,
cool.
Crystal Bath
Yeah.
is the one that still needs to hit
Yeah,
the reserve
Crystal
price.
Bath is nice.
Yeah.
It's super pretty.
And his stuff is good price too. I'm thinking about changing my price because mine is kind of high, and ETH has taken off since, and so now it's even higher.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wish you could set
ETH is gone
a
today.
dollar
Yeah.
price versus an Ether price, just so you can set it at a set amount,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, ETH just went up a bit. Looks like over the past 24 hours too.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to cost me a fee, but I might change the price on mine. See if I get a bite, because it's been retweeted like crazy, and it's been liked like crazy and all that, but nobody's pulled the trigger.
You gonna show it? You gonna show it?
I mean, I guess I could try and
Yeah, you
show
should.
it again. I'd have to find what's my URL? Who am I again? I'm Dave.
You're
right?
Mograph
I'm
Dave.
Dave. Yeah,
Mograph
just
Dave.
making sure I'm Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is my piece right here. It's Heartseed. See if I can. That's about as big as I can get that screen there. But it is right now.
Original music done by Dave as well.
I did the music
So-
for it. Yeah, 1.88
Yeah.
ETH. It's kind of high. That was not that expensive when I minted this. So I'm
I
thinking about
can't hear
taking it
it.
down probably to 1.
We haven't. Yeah, because you
Yeah,
can't.
I
hear
don't
the
have it piping through.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I guess I could unmute. Let's
So
see.
explain the piece to me.
He doesn't talk about the sausage.
I don't. Talk,
I'm
yeah,
not
I don't
asking how it was made.
You see, when I was feeling,
wanna know what- I wanna
down
know what
back
it
in the
means.
day, and it's kind of a personal thing.
Okay.
However, I will be talking about it soon on the show. Matt knows what I'm talking
that's
about.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the stuff that I love, man. I like hearing what was it that
Mhm.
drew you into this. Like, why a pearl? Like, what?
Yeah. Here, I'll play the music if it will. You can hear it a little bit here. It's very simple. And
I
it
don't hear
loops.
it.
The music loops with it as well.
We don't
after,
hear it
like
at all.
4. Oh, you don't hear. Oh,
No.
that's right. You don't hear it because I had to change my audio to you guys because I was skipping
Right.
on your side. Anyway, everybody on the stream could hear it just fine.
Yay! Oh, beautiful work.
Yeah. Sounds great.
That audio though.
Yeah.
That audio though.
All right.
Um,
Next up on the list, let's get through here. We got Ryan Talbot. He's
Ryan
been
Talbot,
doing a
yep.
bunch of these lately, and he's got this one on Maker's Place. This is pretty. And I think
that's
this one's
great.
sold already, if I'm not
it
mistaken.
sell?
But we like to show them anyway because somebody might want to buy them. They
Yeah.
might be for sale again. I think this is sold.
Go to
right?
edition activity.
Where's
go over to
that?
edition.
See, I'm not
Down
familiar
there.
with
Go down.
Maker's Place.
Yeah, Maker's Place is kind of weird. Go to edition. Okay, so someone is accepting offer. Someone bought it for 5 ETH.
Wow.
So, but that person is still accepting offers, so you could still make an offer on that.
It was
you know.
Gabo from The
yeah.
Simpsons.
Gabo.
Gabo.
That's funny.
Oh, Gabo.
Do we have anyone else? Yes. Isaac.
Yeah. Our
Just in
good
the
friend,
nick of
Mr.
time.
Isaac. How do I say it wrong?
You say
Terex.
it wrong every time.
Terex.
Don't even try.
I know because I always want to say Terracus.
Yeah.
It just sounds more badass.
That
right?
sounds like a dinosaur.
right.
Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
There you go. Dim
Yeah.
cars.
This is on Foundation. This is his Gemini piece. His Gemini piece.
His
yeah.
Gemini or his Genesis piece?
Genesis, that's what it is.
Genesis
I always
does.
get those.
I
two.
thought for a
Right.
second, like, is there a kind of piece that I don't know about?
No,
Yeah.
no,
Gemini?
Genesis. Yeah, I get those confused.
And lastly, we do have a listener drop that was sent in as well. I think.
Yes.
Who is this? Pixel makes me happy.
Pixel makes me happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't I have that on there?
I don't
Anyway,
know. You're the one who put it there.
Pepe, Pixel makes me happy. They hit me up. So I check my Twitter, to see who's gonna ask me for a foundation invite. This person did not, but they sent me their work, so I was like, okay, cool. And then I love I like non-fungible fart with actually really good work, and I love the WTF is an NFT, and I love how anytime you have like a really bad soft body collision that just messes up,
Yeah.
I love that. It's like, okay, I know how the sausage is made, and that's funny. Only people who know how the sausage is made
We'll find
is
it
going
funny.
to get that joke, right?
Yeah,
So I don't know. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
got it.
That's the drops. Now
That's fun.
I also had a note in here that Logan is working on a Beeple NFT game in Unreal Engine.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I'll see if I can get a link. I don't know if that's out yet.
Did you see the Beeple generator like last week
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you just click go and it makes the Beeple render. You start getting repeats after, just a couple of times.
Yeah.
But
Well, there was
Oh,
a
can I?
yeah.
Can I shout out somebody?
yeah,
yeah,
totally.
do it.
I invited on. Is there a term for like somebody that you invite on Foundation, like your
Invite
your
something
your
like
Foundation
that.
spawn, your ward?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trevor Kerr is
Cool.
on Foundation
Oh, nice.
now. His username is Tervork, TERVORK, and
Got it.
he just dropped his first piece there,
Nice. There we
which
go.
I can't get it to
I
him.
got it. I got it.
Pretty.
I like the fabric. I like the
Yeah.
texturing on it.
Yeah, he's good at that, man. The color looks really good too. I haven't even
Yeah.
seen this piece. This is like the first time I'm
The
seeing it.
reds. The reds. The colors,
reds,
children.
though.
The colors.
Bye.
But the man, I also invited. Let's see if they posted yet. I'll pimp all the people that I invited. Actually, I don't know if they've made anything yet, but I've invited quite a few really amazing artists.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Amador Valenzuela is somebody that I invited. Do you guys know him?
I don't think so.
Let me see. He's on Foundation. Let me see. See if I know.
Has Nick dropped
Search
yet?
for people.
Did Nick drop one?
No. He's taking sort of like a
He's a collector. I
he's
know
more
that.
of a collector.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he just loves like standing off to the sidelines and watching all these amazing artists do their thing and provide plugins and assets and all that stuff. He likes that sort of side
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
I can't find his stuff. Anyway, look him up.
Cool.
Cool.
There was a drawing or a raffle for a Beeple piece
yeah.
this last week as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I recommend people like if you want to get in on that, follow Beeple and just set your notifications to on because it was literally 20 minutes that you had to enter the raffle
Could be-
and they had 8,000 entries.
Could be a raffle. Could be a render of a giant penis. You never know.
I know that one yesterday.
Oh
Jeez.
my gosh. How is
It's
that?
like-
It's not. Is it censored enough to where it's not taken down?
I
Is
don't
it-
know. Maybe it's like, okay, people's got his $69 million, his $100 million. Like, all right,
Yeah.
I guess all the gloves are off now.
Yeah. oh, look who it is.
Oh, hey, Dorpy.
Hey, Matt. How's it
What's
going?
up?
You doing all right?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I just wanted to come in and say I tried to enter the Beeple raffle last week,
Right.
but
Okay.
it was a little rough.
Didn't you use the rough joke last week?
No, that was roof. Get it right.
Oh.
Yeah. I also tried to be to kind of mint a piece on Rarible,
Uh-huh.
but it said the file size was too big. Yeah, I think it was too many bytes.
My God, what is happening right now? I need to get high.
Anyway, I know I keep hounding you for this, but can I get an invite to Foundation?
You know what, Dorothy? I have one invite left. I will give you an invite to Foundation. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta go.
What are you gonna make, Dorpy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta go start working on it. All right. I guess I'm gonna get out of here. If you need me though, Matt, I'll
Yeah.
be in my lab.
Oh, laugh like dog.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, Dorpy.
Came for the MoGraph, stayed for the Dorpy.
Uh,
Oh boy, you know Dorpy's got his own TikTok.
he does. He's on
Yeah.
MoGraph TikTok. He's having a good
Yeah.
time.
I'll tell my kids.
Oh man, that was terrible.
Yes.
One last thing that I want to say on the drop before we get going is I want to talk about the open editions on Nifty real quick because I've noticed some of these we used to all jump in on the open editions because it was a great way to collect, and sometimes you could flip them for a little bit of a profit. But I would say on some of these lesser known people, you might be able to wait until after their drop and like maybe a couple days later, because those prices start going below what they were initially offered for.
Right.
Like
Right.
I've got a bunch of pieces right now to where it took maybe a month and a half before they're back up to where they were whenever I purchased them, So, it's, I don't know, keep an eye on things because, yeah, you may be able to get them for cheaper if you're looking to collect, if you're looking to do whatever. But Nifty's weird, man. I'll tell you what, it's like it was the place, and then I think everyone started discovering Maker's Place and Rarible and Foundation and stuff, and now it's like I feel like Nifty is in the same realm as Rarible, as far as like design and stuff. But if you post on Nifty, if you get on Nifty, you're guaranteed
you're
to make
gonna
$500,000 to $1 million,
rich. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
I don't know.
I got a couple links,
Mhm.
crypto links I could add in here as well.
Yeah.
Premiumbeat.com randomly
do.
has articles not related to audio at all. Like they have a
Yes.
lot of them. Like I actually read some of their articles sometimes. So I just think it's random that premiumbeat.com has these film
Premiumbeat.com.
and graphics articles and such. But that being said, what up? Jonathan Winbush is in
Oh.
their latest article. So
That's cool.
check that out. And it's talking about his world of NFTs and what he does. So make sure you check that out. And of course, little link to the course at the bottom of that. too.
All right.
You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
There you
check
go.
that out. And then other links that I have here. I already talked about the SNL NFTs, which is awesome. I got another link to these statues that Maxime has been doing of artists in the industry that are naked.
Gosh.
He's done, I think, 3 so far. One was
If anyone's seen the Beeple one,
Yeah.
the Beeple with the like
Beeple's
7-foot long dong
going
right,
around
that
his
wrapped
body.
around his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one was there.
He did
that one exists.
Octane Jesus one, and then
Right.
he did one of naked EJ, but
Right.
he's holding his pug right in the
Right
you
over
know,
his
appropriate
junk. Right.
place.
Right.
So I won't put,
One
put that
last-
on the feed.
Do you have any more links?
I have 2
'Cause if
more
not,
real quick.
okay.
Jules was on CNBC, so make sure you check that
Yeah.
out. He's talking about the future of NFTs. That's a big one. I don't know how he fits it all in his head. And then just a good article, and he talked about this if you were on REF's Clubhouse call last Friday, which is this is the security Clubhouse call. Our friend Crossfader, he fell for a scammer and he lost his crypto wallet. And
That
sucks.
It's pretty bad. And the thing about this is you don't just lose your wallet, right? You lose your
Yeah.
login for all of your sites. So that's
Yeah.
something to take into consideration.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Security's a big deal. Okay, sorry. What else you got?
Last thing that I was gonna say. So I was talking because I had a couple of foundation invites. I don't now that I gave them to Dorpy, but I was talking to someone who I thought, I was like, hey, do you want this foundation invite? And they were like, well, I'm already on foundation, but I was a little worried about posting because my friends aren't doing well. And I was like, listen, you got to post, whatever. I'll cover your mint fees, And I was like, that way you have nothing to worry about. If it doesn't sell, you're not out any money, blah, blah, blah. And so it gave me a really good idea. There was what was it? The Genesis Foundation or whatever that did, that was it 888 or was it, I think it was 888.
No, it was Illustrator, isn't it?
Illustrator or
I think
Metacoven.
No,
I don't remember.
I thought
One
it
of
was
them,
Illustrator, but maybe
one
I'm
of them
wrong.
did
Kevin will know because Kevin actually was a recipient.
So there's the Gemini project, where they were going to cover mint fees for their for artists' first drop, and I thought that was a really good idea because what a better way for artists to give back to help promote other artists than help covering mint fees for up and coming artists and stuff like that. Because some of us are starving artists. We like doing this 3D stuff, but we can afford $150 in mint fees or whatever.
Sometimes
so
really bad.
I think what we're going to, and I don't have it all worked out yet, but I want to make a wallet that people can donate to. And that money will go to help cover other people's first initial drops. And I think it's a really cool idea. It's a way for artists to help other artists, and also help, say you sell something for 1 ETH, you throw $10-20 into the pot, that helps get a new artist closer to minting their first piece.
Right.
So, and we get everyone doing that. Someone who, is on the Genesis, who gets chosen as a Genesis artist also, throws $10-20 after they mint their first piece. It's like that just keeps on giving back to the community.
Yeah.
So that will be in the works. Make sure and listen each week so that we can give you more information on that.
And Kevin says it is Illustrator. Who is
cool.
Tim Kang.
Illustrator.
That's
Tim Kang is Illustrator. Yeah. So
Illustrator, I think, owns the number 1 into the ETH. I think.
I believe so. I don't know. If anyone's looking to get a good deal on a number 8 into the ETH, I would definitely recommend looking at Nifty right now.
Yeah.
So
go buy mine right now.
Go buy Dave's. He's got it listed for a really good price.
Really good price. Yeah.
Yep.
That is it. Are we done with the drop?
I think so.
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. Chad?
Yes, so Chad. Thank you. Thank you for being on the show.
Anytime.
Always a lot to talk about. We took 3 things on a list of topics and made it a 3-hour show.
Yeah, I think you could chop this into 3 podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. And it will be. The drop is its own show now. So.
Oh, there you go. 4.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yep. All the things online are where you can find Chad. You don't really have to try hard to find Chad online. I mean, you just type his name. You type Grayscale Gorilla.
Yeah.
You'll see my stupid face.
Yeah,
CGPOV, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
cool.
Go to mograph.com/talks. Check out the DFWC4D video of Chad explaining how
I watched that the other day. It was great.
So great.
I just had it on in the background.
Remember places
while I was doing my while I was cleaning my house.
Remember places?
I know. I want to get
that place went out of business.
Oh damn!
It sucks. Yeah. That was a great place for it. We're gonna have to have a really big DFWC4D. You're gonna have to come back, hang out with us. Beers.
Yeah,
beers.
dude.
I mean, Texas is open. Technically, we could have it now.
Yeah.
Oh,
free
Texas.
for all, boys. Come on in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to a Taekwondo tournament this weekend, and it was like elbow to elbow. Half the people were wearing masks.
We're almost there. We're
whatever.
So close. So close.
Yeah.
Hang in there, people. Hopefully
we'll get there.
Everybody's doing all right.
Hang in there, kitty. It's almost Friday.
Yeah. It's always almost Friday. And it always feels like a Monday. So.
Right. All right.
Cool. We're going to get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review on your podcatcher of choice. Helps get our ratings up. You can also subscribe to all the things, the podcast, the newsletter, all of that. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the MoGraph logo tee. Paul Babb Classic Feel the Babb 2020 shirt. All the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders. The Render Things t-shirt, hoodie, and long sleeve tee. The That Render is Fire shirt, which you're only allowed to wear ironically, unless you're Shams. And the MoGraph Blandishment retro t-shirt, you can get that too. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and MoGraph.com.
Cool.
And that's it.
All
right. Until next time, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Yeah, I'm Chad.
Have a good one.
Later, yo.
Bye, everybody.
Good show. Well done, guys.
Now what do we do?
Now we just sit